put
We're
my camera
underway.
on just momentarily.
Okay, we're on way. Go for it.
Okay, welcome to my campaign, which is Traveler Starstruck, which is a callback to some other campaign names of the past. It's set in my own original universe. There is a Democratic Federation and there's a Socialist Federation, and trade has been liberalized recently, so there's merchant opportunities. Um, I'll summarize things as we go for the home audience. The Let me see now. The trade has been liberalized, so you all represent characters. Your characters are generated. Jen is not here today, um, with her character by the name of I have it down
Extra.
here already. Yeah, Astria. Yeah, her character's name is Astria. She'll be in another session. And okay, so you have been hired by an outfit which is called. Let me just get to the handout. The handout has been available, but it's
hmm
in the campaign info. It's the Argosy Dawn. Clever logo. And the Argosy Dawn is a corporation. It's not an ordinary shipping corporation because it's a shipping corporation that grew out of a crew of a single free trader called the Argosy Dawn. 32 years ago, they made good and decided to expand their operations, called themselves Argosy Dawn Shipping. Clever logo, which looks like a ship breaking across a star, but it's also the letters A and D. And they actually were working in the Verdulan Federation back when it was tough. I mean, the Verdulan Federation was still socialist. You had to have direct relationships with the communes and the government on the side of the Verdulan Frontier Federation to be able to trade. So some traders from the Frontier Federation, that's just what it's called, Frontier Federation, decided to tackle the enormous paperwork with nobody else to help them. But trade has been liberalized recently, and the Merchants Guild, out of all the socialists in the Verdulan Federation, they are the most interested in trading with the Frontier Federation. So they've gotten the group called the apparatoi, that's a plural. The apparatoi are basically intermediaries. The apparato societo is, in English, you would translate it as Society of Intermediaries. They help take the burden of paperwork off your back so you can go in and trade and meet with the traders. So the Argosy shipping did it when it was tough. They added another ship, they prospered, they added another ship and another, and now they have a total fleet of 23 merchant ships. Four members now occupy well-appointed office buildings in different star systems, and you have been hired. You're going to meet one of them. So basically, one of these is holding up their end of space for this corporation in a well-appointed office. So the person that you're supposed to meet is called Brianna Anderson. Uh, she looks a lot better than her age for some reason, and uh, she sort of has an opulent lifestyle, has a yacht, and generally she conducts meetings not from a ground side office, but on a yacht. The most populated planet around here is called Fentara, but she doesn't park her yacht around Fentara. Her yacht orbits another world. Both Fentara and the world called Cassadine, they both orbit um, a high gravity big world. A big world is like a gas giant, but it's entirely solid, has high gravity, um, and it's a big world of Glomera. So she's orbiting a moon of Glomera, just like Fentara is a moon of Glomera, but that's at some distance from Fentara. So you make your way to her yacht for a meeting and an interview. You have been like selected from a job interview basis. So all eight of you are packed in a ship going from Fentara to the Cassadine planet. Um, it could take hours, but you do get there, and you airlock opens with her yacht, and you um, are ushered in. There's some kind of butler who greets you out of the airlock doors. You can put away your vac suits. Do you want to keep your vac suits on or not?
No, I'll take it off.
Okay. And
I'll leave
let
mine
me just
on,
check
but take
here.
the helmet off.
I do the same as Steve's care. Yep. I take my helmet off, but leave it on, but have my helmet near me.
Okay.
Are we in space or
I take it off. I make sure my tie and stuff looks good.
You're aboard a standard style yacht,
are we
and
we're in space, right?
yeah, and you've docked with this yacht, so your shuttle could be a slow boat, could be whatever that has shuttled the eight of you, a passenger shuttle. You are now linked to the yacht safely, and well, some other pilots, not any of you piloting it, but it's some other commercial pilot who has piloted this craft. You're docked, and there's some kind of elegant butler type who greets you at the airlock, and he leads you through some corridors which stop looking like metal bulkheads after a while and start looking like a luxury wood paneled house in some sort of ancient style, and uh, there's like a chlorine smell in the air, like there's a swimming pool somewhere here inside the yacht. Um, but you're brought into an office which sort of has like elegant furniture with like little fluted wooden furniture legs. Um, looks like some sort of Regency or French Revolution style furniture. And you see Brianna Anderson there. She's seated. She has an elegant coiffure and some sort
Merhaba.
of fashion. Um, and she says, "Welcome." And she reads off your names. Actually, no, it's the butler who would check off your names to see that you're all here. And a row of seats, like two sets of four chairs, have been laid out for you to sit down in two rows. Um, and she asks a few things like uh, to get familiar. She seems to have files on all of you already. Uh, and she says basically, okay, so you have been selected through the employment process to um, crew one of my newest ships uh, as part of the Argosy Dawn shipping company. The name of the ship will be left up to you. It's up to you to decide, and we can rapidly register the ship. And the purpose of the ship is to go trade with the Verdulan Federation, which has been semi closed for many decades, but trade has been liberalized recently. And as long as we fill in all the right permits and keep our noses clean, then we can trade uh, with them. I will direct you
Fahişe
to
kendini
certain jobs that need doing, but once you're there on the spot, you have considerable autonomy to pick up new uh, jobs. If you don't get news from the corporation itself, you can secondarily look to the Verdulan Merchants Guild for other suggested shipping jobs to do, and so you'll have some autonomy once you're back there, and once you're out of range of my messaging. Messages from me would take several weeks to get to you, so you have considerable autonomy as long as you meet certain profit guidelines. You are basically on a system of salary plus bonuses. And we're going to take you through some necessary things to do for certification. You have to have a basic knowledge of the Verdulan language, so you're going to maybe pass a language exam. We think it may be fairly easy. And we have to check for other things to make sure that you are certified and the ship is certified. Um, we can direct you next to the shipyard where the ship is, so you can get familiar with where you're going to be. And at this point, she pauses and she asks if there's uh, any questions.
No, thank you, Maloney. It seems very clear.
Thank you very much, ma'am. I'm Be honored to work for you.
Okay, so no questions, but a lot of brown nosing. Okay.
I stay
European.
quiet.
Well, she's kind of
Ditto.
hot.
Do you say
Yeah.
that?
No, I don't say that.
Oh, she's not wearing exactly. She's not wearing
I
exactly
think
this in the meeting. This is some kind of formal, like this would be like the Cannes Film Festival red carpet fashions. She's a little bit more businesslike in this meeting, but she's a fashion horse. She can change fashions several times a day as needed, and maybe even hairstyles. There might be something like mimetic hair or something that will just change and move around into new shapes as programmed.
Smoke.
So, any other thoughts or questions? I'm just trying to describe this very generally. Chance to role play.
Well, besides being honored to work for her, I'm ready to see the ship, and I'm also ready to decide a name on this ship.
Well, thoughts, as far as thoughts go, Tomo has barely seen a woman in 16 years, so his
Oh
thoughts
my
are
God.
probably in the
Oh,
gutter, but he's smart enough not to say anything. The warden might be watching. Um, so,
as Tomo learns self-control in 4 terms of prison, do the other characters know you've been in prison?
I don't think I
well,
would know, or I
well, at
wouldn't
least one,
even
well, at
want to
least one
know.
of them does, because I was in prison with them.
What's his
Connections.
position? What's your position? You're on the ship. I know I'm the
I'm
pilot.
Stuart.
You're the steward. Okay. Whatever works. I don't know nothing about
Is
you, so
Tomo?
I wouldn't know.
Yeah, Tomo does not have a steward skill yet. He wants to try to expand from the profession of chef is sort of like one aspect of being a steward, but it's a road to a lot of comically failed steward roles, and all the people you feed are clawing their way on the steel bulkheads, trying to get out into jump space to escape your cooking. So it'll be very funny if you try to roll steward at this point.
I'll just use my persuade skill and say, eat it.
Yeah, eat it. It's Chateaubriand. You'll love it. It's Chateaubriand, believe me. That
That's
she'll
Sausage.
do a
funny.
lot of persuade rolls. Maybe.
I'm good at prison life.
You may have to resort to tricks like that.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of an episode in DS9 where Quark basically goes, he goes, I'm going to feed my bar with what? And he goes, this laser pistol. And he goes, and then he goes, but you were the ship's cook. And yeah, and everybody on the crew was a food critic.
Okay, yeah, well, ostensibly, I think Tomo is more specialized in various security aspects, but he could be a chef, and he told me that he's sort of, well,
Brother, is
Brian
he
told me
mad?
that Tomo would sort of aspire to trying to get the full steward skill, but he's hampered by the education dice modifier. These dice modifiers are killer either way in Mongoose second edition rules. But we'll see. Mostly, his use will be in a pinch in a tough combat situation. That's where Tomo will start knocking
Pierre.
heads and using melee and guns and whatever. But he can still cook, so we'll see how that goes. When you're locked up with him for a weekend jump, we'll see. Yeah, we'll just see how that goes.
I actually have the skill profession chef.
That's right.
So
Yeah,
Yep.
so you aspire to cooking, real non-prison gourmet food, but you're at -1.
Can
you
a
can see what I can do with a packet of ramen.
more educated person or higher intelligence person help someone else out with education stuff if it would help them get a boost to their role, or is that nothing?
It would help. There is a procedure where if you study 8 weeks in something, you can get to, a level, and if it's level 2, you need 2 8-week periods and so on. And the 1 week you spent in jump is ideal for full-time study, so that might be a long-term way to train. There might be
Oh,
better ways to train. We'll
uh,
look at the rules from here till the next session and figure that out.
mhm.
But anyway, that's my position, steward security.
Yeah,
Okay.
I placed your tokens on the ship map. I put out the ship map, which is as the starting map, and I placed you in your approximate expected positions based on your professions. Tomo would be in the passenger's common area simply because it's a larger kitchen for a larger number of people. So that was where he would normally base his operations. Jen has probably rigged a med bay in the room that is normally in the part of the ship that is normally for the low berths, the cryogenic units and so on, but she has set up a med bay in there too. So that's her office. Sai and Ved are near their respective, well, Sai is by the power plants, Ved is by the engines. Wilson is in the administrative office because he tends to do financial and broker things, so it's a classic type office off of the bridge. And for Brogan is the pilot. Virgil is pretty much by default on the bridge as well. Um, some of these characters would also be good in a combat situation, so I don't know if there's any particular place to put them. Virgil is fairly close to the airlock, and Tomo would have to go up the hatch and across the cargo bay to go to the airlock as well. I don't know, so we can keep that in mind. But I've sort of positioned you in starting positions on the map. You have a far trader, which means it's capable of a jump 2 instead of jump 1. That's important here because there's a lot of gaps on the map. Let me just flash to the sector map briefly. Change you all to there. Yeah,
So
you're starting
where are
on,
we now?
right now you're starting on the populated planet of Fentara, which is over here. I'll shift your
Yep.
perspective to there. Maybe zoom that if you can. Well, you have to zoom your own map to maybe 130, 140%. And it's a heavily populated planet. Any planet written in all capital letters means it has 1 billion or more people. But the people on this planet are mainly non-human bipedal molluscoids, which are called Fentarans. And there's something like 2 trillion of them. They occupy very tightly packed caverns, and it turns out that when humans came to this world, they didn't realize that there were underground Fentarans, in a greater number. But the Ventarans actually are gregarious. They can occupy very little space and don't ask for much. And apparently, they've hollowed out huge sections of this planet for their population, and they don't really care if the humans are occupying a tiny portion of the surface. The planet is slightly heavier gravity than Earth. It's got a tainted atmosphere with a lot of sulfides. Fentarans look like they're molluscoids. They seem to have tentacles in front of their face. They have 2 eyes like humans, but tentacles in front. They might be something like the Ood that Steve presented, which was inspired by Doctor Who Oods, but they kind of look similar, and but they are the dominant life form on this planet. They excel as chefs, and their cuisine is world renowned, but they have to do one important step to cook for humans, which is to get all the sulfides and sulfates out. So the food has to be purified before they can get to work, and of course, they cook within a human atmosphere to do that. Um, so that's Fantara. That's your base of operations. I have a little artwork here, wherever it was in the background things. Yeah, library data Fantara. So you notice a sort of cast to the atmosphere, which is slightly greenish. And if a scientist type takes a spectrometer to the atmosphere, they will see that it's sulfides, like hydrogen sulfide and things which might give a smelly thing. So you need a filter mask. It's got air and oxygen otherwise, but you need a filter mask to go around outside, and people learn to do that as a matter of course. It orbits the big world of Glomera, so it's actually a moon, a satellite. What else can I tell you about it? But as I said, the offices of Argosy Dawn are on Fentara, but Brianna Anderson is not. She's in her private yacht, probably enjoying the benefits of 30 years of her career. What else can I tell you? Let me see. Oh, and the Fentarans are pretty well integrated with humans, but if they are down in their own underground warrens, they tend to follow their own customs. So they are not hostile to human societal traits, but they prefer to conduct their own affairs when they're amongst themselves. So if you take your leave of Brianna Anderson, you go back down to, or back over to Fentara. These are both moons. And let me see. You have to get registered for various permits. So you go to the offices of Argosy Dawn Shipping, first of all. You have to be registered for various Verdulan permits. Now, the
Yep.
Verdulan embassy has become much
7 of
expanded.
them.
In fact, they sort of had to do overflow sort of accommodations. What they've created is in parking lots and things, they've created temporary tables and offices, and there's lineups and people being processed, people like, similar to being merchants like yourselves. It's well, it's all enclosed atmosphere, of course. So but you notice it's fairly flimsy structures overflowing the usual grounds of the embassy, and they administer a basic language test. They don't insist on very much. Now, Verdulan, as I may have mentioned before, is made to be very easy and regularized. If you learn a rule of grammar, it applies absolutely everywhere for everything, no exceptions. If you have even absent-mindedly gone through 1 year of high school studying that, it's generally a year is compulsory in any border world with the Verdulan Federation. You study that in high school, but studying this language for 1 year is like studying 5 years of any other kind of language. So if you think of a language like learning Spanish in high school or French or Italian or whatever, high school is absolutely the wrong age to learn a language. But if you have to do it, you're getting the equivalent of 5 years if you study Verdulan, because it's much easier in structure. It's regular. You still have a lot of words and vocabulary to learn, but it's all regular. So the Verdulans are going to test you for basic language ability. It may not work for, understanding Verdulan legal documents and trying to be in Verdulan court, but that is why you have Wilson. Wilson seems to have languages skill.
I also have some of my wafer chip.
Yeah. Oh,
Yep.
sorry. You have a wafer, Steve?
Yeah, I've got
Did you?
4 of them, 5 of them. I've got
What
well,
are
most of my
you bought
skills are.
them?
Sorry.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah, I bought those. I've
Did you
listed on my
devote
character sheet.
them?
Yep.
You devoted them to languages, so you
Just wanted to
focused
know
on.
what. Yeah, just want to know what. I've got one language and linguistics, so I just want to know. Verdulan would be the most universal one we're going to cross over to.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
There are some languages of various minorities, which I
Yeah.
mentioned in the background document a long time ago, but
Cool.
Verdulan is obligatorily understood everywhere. Um, so you go off for language test. Now I'm going to make it a very easy uh, role, which is education 6+. If there's anybody who can't pass that role, well, the Verdulans will probably make adjustments. Nobody is really taking this kind of requirement seriously. Um, they also want to check all your other papers. So unlike the cute little, I found a cute little illustration from the Traveler book, which was the exit visa adventure. It was basically a nightmare of bureaucracy. So I found this little illustration. If you click the center magnifying glass, it'll just zoom into your screen full size
Yep.
from the Traveler book. Um, you're not carrying a whole sheaf of papers around. You're more like carrying a pen drive, a thumb drive, whatever you want to call it. And that has all your papers appropriately encrypted with the appropriate encrypted electronically signed permissions and so on. And the Verdulans ask to see that stuff, or they set you up with such stuff. So the pen drives are flowing back and forth in this office, trying to add, re-annotate documents, restamp them electronically. It's all done electronically. It's a high-tech world, so they probably have little plasma screens that's set up non-materially in front of the person reading it, and you're in the lineups, and you're in the lineup to go to the lineup, but it moves fairly quick, and after a few hours, you are all processed until such time as it comes to personal identifications. They want to know who the captain of the ship is going to be, and I want to ask one or two other questions about which comes up um, in the process. Now, who is the nominal captain of the ship? They have a form. They got to put somebody who predominantly is the head captain. Who is it going to be?
Well, usually the pilot is, but then again, whoever's the admin or the purser might be the captain. Who is the person who's in charge of the money?
Yeah, if it's a military type outfit, the pilot might captain things and make harsh decisions. If it's more of a business venture, it could be the
Wilson.
broker type.
Who's our key broker? Who does the
Wilson.
business? Wilson
I-
is. huh?
Wilson is.
Oh, you
I
think?
have
Oh, I-
admin, I have advocate, I have broker, I have leadership.
So maybe we should leave it up to the group to decide: is it the pilot or the admin? And
Yeah.
Say the admin. If he's got leadership, then
I say the cook.
You say the cook.
Why
I don't
not?
trust
The cook?
this guy.
Who's gonna say no once they see him?
I would say
He can be the first mate.
no. Your captain's the first. Your pilot's the first mate because he's the guy actually flying the ship. You're the captain, Wilson. I give it to you.
I think the
All right.
official on
pilot the first mate.
All right,
the
two
official
votes
on
for
his
me.
desk the official on his desk is sort of talking to you in heavily accented English. Remember that the Verdulans only have 5 vowel sounds, but English has 18, so they're kind of limited. So they would say something like, "I do not have all day. Please pick."
He's the captain. Wilson is the captain.
Wilson? Okay. I was going to hope
Yes.
that,
The
I was
first
hoping that
mate.
we would throw a spear to both of you and then the Star Trek dual music comes on, dun 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 dun.
We could have a brawl. We could brawl it out.
Well, I
Whoever.
would say
Just
Wilson.
give it to
Are you
Tomo.
challenging
Tomo
me
is
to
a
a
mate,
duel
because
over
Tomo can always
captainship?
enforce the
Yeah.
captain's orders.
It's Wilson then. Okay. So
Wilson's the
Wilson
captain
is the nominal captain.
because
Now,
he's the admin. He's the guy who's going to have
okay.
to deal with all this bureaucratic bullshit.
Well, he's got
Okay.
7
flying the
licenses
ship.
he's got to get, 7 bloody
Okay.
passports, or whatever they're called. Permits.
All right. So no problem. They take down they have to take down the names of all the other crew members, and they don't really worry about what your specific function is. They just want names. But they run your names through something, and they get a couple of dings, which
Tomo,
is
you might not be allowed in the country.
yeah, out of character, out of
You
character.
won't be able to get in Canada.
Which characters have a prison record?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, the captain.
I
No,
do.
not the captain.
Okay, so we got
Up was a captain.
in names. So prison records, Tomo
Tomo.
for sure. Okay, and then in
Ronnie
character
Hayes.
names, Ronnie. Okay, Ronnie has a prisoner term. And didn't I just? I just rolled with Richard. Ved. Has Ved had a prison term? Yeah. Sorry, no, it was Mantar. Mantar.
No, I haven't.
So
Yeah, that's
sorry. I'm sorry. I gotta keep 7 people straight here in my head. So Mantar's character. Okay, Ronnie Haynes. So who else is it? So there's Tomo and Ronnie. Who else?
I think that's it.
Okay. So your 2 names ding, and the guy says, "Okay, well, it's no panic, guys, but we have a prison record for 2 of you. We need to fill out some forms about that,
Oh, gosh.
mitigate this circumstances, perhaps." And he talks sort of like the Centauri ambassador in
Wilson,
battle.
you need to do some magic here. Help out our
Yeah.
crewmates. Everybody's got some rough shit
Yeah,
somewhere.
and
Come on, Wilson, Captain.
You remember the Centauri ambassador Londo in
Mm-hmm.
Londo Molari
Babylon 5.
Yeah.
in
Babylon 5.
Babylon 5. That's how the Verdulans kind of talk, you know.
Okay.
The Federation is lenient about these things, but we need some details to fill forms to satisfy our government.
Okay, I'm
So
watching Under
it
the
talks to you like
Table.
that. What?
What's our problem here?
You have prison terms. There's the man named Tomo, and the man named Ronnie. They have prison records here. We want to ask you to fill out these forms, and we need you to get we need you to get an information statement from the local police, and get that as soon as you can. They can probably do it very quickly upon your request, but we fill it in, and if we make a snap decision that the issues have been resolved or are not that serious, it will not create any obstacle to you being
Captain.
able to be certified for this.
See,
Yeah.
I knew being locked up by the bloody capitalists for the crime of starting a trade union.
Redistributing wealth?
Is that what happened?
No.
Oh, man.
He broke a few
No, that
Yeah,
was not
kneecaps.
what
sure.
we roll.
He
Okay,
broke a few
so
kneecaps.
do you want me to
Is he
roll
lying?
an
What is the
advocate
character lying? Is
skill?
that what you're telling me?
Let's get Wilson wants to do
I
an
could I
advocate
could I
roll.
could try to help him with the lie. So yeah, I want to look
A
at these
lie?
papers and like see how complicated it is.
I've got
Can
my
I
Yeah.
just
parole papers. I'm
You
can
sure
I
you
can
just
understand.
get this
Um,
done real
sorry.
fast,
the
or
well.
should I try
Okay,
to
good,
work
good.
around it?
Yeah. Well, Wilson might be of help, and that's where I
Wow.
do want to see a roll. It would probably fall under admin.
Yeah, I
Now a
was
lot of
thinking
this.
admin or advocate first, and if
Mhm.
that fails, then we go
Yeah.
to deception or bribe them with broker.
Try more of an admin thing, but when your dice roll comes up, give it -1 because you're dealing with Verdulans, and a lot of the electronic forms are written in that funky Verdulan alphabet, so that might slow you down. You have been able to speak the language before and piece together their writing, but just give it all a -1 in your roll, and roll an
No
admin.
problem. I'm like, I curl my mustache. There'll be no problem. I got the commissioner online. We'll get these signed away. No problem. No problem. I pat him on the
Wow.
back. All right, let's
Okay.
get out of here, guys.
That's the
Oh,
-1
MVP.
roll. It is. Holy cow. All right. 10 plus 3 plus -1. Okay. Wow. All right,
Good
very
choice for
good.
captain.
You get the sense that you can talk all you want, but they're interested in paper and forms and what's written down and what the police actually testified about court records and so on. But it's not going to take days to get that stuff. It's going to take
They
hours.
they didn't do nothing bad. I start looking
Uh-huh.
through the forms, the like parole stuff, and like the criminal history. I'm like, ooh.
The official
I'm
says, I can write down what you say, but it will not impress the people who want to hear from your police force, and we need to have documentation.
Welcome to
You can
bureaucracy
say
hell.
you can say
Oh.
anything you want. It does not change the forms and the electronic stuff here. I will pass it on and I will note what you say, Mr. Wilson, but it will not affect the thing. The thing
Captain
goes
Wilson.
on.
No, Mr.
Captain.
Wilson. It's
Oh yes,
Captain
Captain.
Wilson.
Yes, you are quite right. We are very respectful of titles over in the Verdulan Federation. We will make sure to call you Captain, and you will always be referred to with Captain in front.
Good.
Uh, yeah. Okay, so Capitano Wilson. Yes, certainly, Capitano. We will do that.
We're getting somewhere.
Okay, but it's just forms. We need the forms. It may take a few hours. In the meantime, it does not change your place in line. All of you can go on. You can go into our rooms to take the language tests, which are very easy because our language is easy. So you can do that next, and then I think if we can clear the matter with the two gentlemen, then everything is good, and you can proceed to normal trading business. But remember that you must have the permesiloi, the permits for this and that. And of course, we have the permits. We gave you the list. It's all on these keys. So have a nice day, gentlemen.
Yeah.
And he ushers you off into the next step of processing, which is about language tests. And I want to have some quick Edu 6+ rolls, which means you just click the education button on your sheets,
Right.
and we'll see what we can see.
All right, Captain goes first. Captain has
Sure.
language skills, so I should get a. Do I get a
I rolled an
bonus?
8.
You can roll language instead. Is
I
that
rolled an
better?
8 on education, so that should make me fine on that. Because I
Yes.
have an education bonus. I'm pretty
Yeah.
well.
They want a general level of Verdulan understanding as if you were a laborer. It's not as if you were a scientific professional or medic or something in a more complicated practice.
Okay,
So that's
that's
okay.
that's really good because I rolled a 4.
Oh,
Well, we
uh-oh.
want you to be
Okay.
quiet. You just worry about cooking and telling people to eat. And
So
you,
why am I so rolling a Boon Bane? How do I
it does
stop
it
that?
automatically. I don't know why. You have to
Well, I
hit
have not
Boone.
called for you to roll a boon or a bane.
No,
If I
no,
ask you,
that's
if
just
I ask
on
you,
the
then you click a button. Yeah, you can click a button if the situation calls for one boon or one bane. You can click the appropriate button and then do your roll. And don't forget to switch it back. But I didn't ask for a boon or bane yet. I just asked for the regular roll, and we'll see. Sorry. Oh, it's
Oh,
very small
okay.
for me for some reason. I can't read it. Why is it small all of a sudden? Oh, okay. I see what I did here. Verdulin. Okay. Okay, so who
I rolled a
Tomo
one.
hasn't succeeded. Steve,
I haven't. Well, I did it beforehand. I've got a question. When I use my
yeah.
wafer, do I take it as I'm trained, or it's just a skill level 1?
I think if you take a wafer, it fixes your skill level.
At 1, so it's
At
considered
one,
trained.
yeah, I don't think you can add a characteristic to it, can you? I'm not sure.
Okay, so there I wouldn't have the penalty of the education.
Yeah, who's rolling admin? Wilson is rolling admin several
Yeah, I
times
just
here.
wanted to see
What are
what's
you
going
doing?
on. I'm clicking weird stuff.
Yeah, you just have to click education once. And
Okay.
Richard aced his test. You know, he's
Cool.
learned about the Richard's character Ved Arya has aced his test. Uh, Virgil succeeds. So
Yo.
we don't have Tomo and we don't have C.
C. Okay, here I go.
Didn't succeed. Uh-huh. Okay. Well, I
That's with
think
my
the
wafer.
with your wafer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Good. Good.
Good,
Okay.
you're
So I
doing good.
think So by that means uh, everybody succeeds but Tomo.
Quiet, buddy. Shh, I put my finger over my mouth like, don't say much. We got this.
If I see him struggling, I'll give him some
Yeah.
pointers. Pierre.
I saw a comedy movie about these high school students who do everything to cheat on their final exams, and one of them wears a sort of suit with a lot of stripes, but it's actually all made of rubber. So when he stretches the suit, it turns into lines of text, and so he can read the text and copy on his exam paper. They do all kinds of funky cheats like that. But Tomo has definitely not passed the Verdulan test at a laborer or general labor type level. But the officials here are very sympathetic. Now, don't forget that they are part of an organization trying to further trade for the Verdulan Merchants Guild, and they're called the Apparatoi, or Society of Intermediaries. They're trying to see if they can fix it with some kind of form, and they have Tomo sign some kind of form in English and Verdulan, which says that he is not in any sort of mission critical position because he's a chef. He's sort of buried in the ship. He's not going to pilot. He's not going to be on the radio. And they put all sorts of administrative stuff on this form to allow him to go on. And they add that to the rest of the encrypted forms on the memory key. And after a few hours at this place, very efficient overflow crowd, you go out of the tents back into the normal street with your filter masks on, I hope. And you're done. You're done with all the things, and you can You can actually take off to the next Verdulan port at will and present your visa at the first port of entry.
Nice.
Okay, and then the next step, this would probably consume some of your day. You have the evening ahead of you. What do you want to do this evening, or evening period? Let's say I don't really care where the sun is in the sky on this world, but local time says it's evening.
I want to take Tomo to a whorehouse, man. 16 years, dude. I'm feeling bad for him.
Has he
Yeah.
not already
Yeah,
gone?
everybody throwing 100 credits.
I'm gonna.
I thought he would have. I
Means
thought he would have already
Oh.
gone.
I'm going to put a veil on that sort of stuff because I thought he would already have gone somewhere the moment he was out of prison weeks ago or months ago. He's probably gotten
I would
used
hope
to.
he did. Geez,
He's
16
probably got.
Assumption
He's
that he
probably.
hasn't is
Yeah,
quite rude, actually.
I'd be pulling
yeah.
my hair out. 16 years. Holy cow.
Fentara has a fairly large population, so he's had a few weeks at least to meet a woman who can support his weight. So it's okay. He must have succeeded by now. I'm not even gonna go any further than that. I don't think it's an issue.
Okay. All right.
Well, I mean, it'd certainly be a good idea for everyone just to get to know each other, seeing we're going to be crewing the ship
Yeah.
together.
Go out for a bar and a game of
I'd say we
cards.
So
go out
for a
for a
meal-
couple drinks and talk. So what the hell happened, bro? Why were you in? And I would talk to
Okay.
Tomo.
Find
Yeah.
find an average place. Expect to spend at least
All right, we're going to the
25 credits,
fanciest
since
place.
credits are bigger than $1.
No, we're going to the
Expect this-
regular working class place. The pilot's
Working
den.
class. Okay.
Yeah, we're not.
That's where you can maybe spend only 15 or 20 credits for a night of drinking.
Yeah,
Maybe.
yeah.
Still too much. I'll be drinking water and milk. It's against my religion.
Okay. It's what is it?
It's
You
not,
want to
I'm
stay
just cheap.
sharp?
No, I'm just cheap.
Stay sharp on a trigger finger.
His religion of
Stay
spending
sharp.
money.
Well, I'll just say that,
Great God,
that this
Pruno.
alcohol's fine, but you wait until you taste my Pruno.
God, help us.
Okay,
What's
so
that
you're
made from
evening.
meth?
You're in a working class area or bar. Are you just a distinction? There's many places you can pick, of course. If you pick a human bar, you're probably not going to see a whole lot of Fentarans around in the same atmosphere as you. Well, of course, it's enclosed. Sulfides are kept out of the air with scrubbers and all that, and it's connected to other buildings and other passageways to other buildings. Um, are you, a general question, are you in a sector of town which is near the starport or not near the starport?
Near the starport.
Yeah, we'd be near the starport.
Okay.
We still have to come up with a name too.
Well,
Yeah, that could be.
Okay,
could
yeah,
be
I'm
a
just establishing
topic
that
of discussion.
you have sat down at an okay working class bar. I'm going to ask you to pay 20 credits each for a night of drinking, so you can mark off 20 credits.
Yeah.
And
I'll be getting
you
some
can discuss
fine
what you
milk.
want to discuss. Milk, okay.
That's all.
You'd pay much less than 20 credits then,
No,
50 credits.
Much
I'll
less.
pay
Very
20
rare.
credits for some very fine milk. I've got no problem with that. Probably
You
spiced
got
with
the best,
something.
the best green milk there is around
That's
here.
right.
Yes, you
And
got it.
with a bit of blue as well, if I can.
Bit of blue, green blue.
Yeah.
Okay, aquamarine milk. Okay,
Teal milk sounds good to me.
steel milk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I also got to subtract my weapons and my ammo that I bought. I added all that, Pierre.
Yeah, let's not forget from the handout, I can quickly tell you.
You said anything tech level 12 or under was good, so I bought accordingly.
Yeah, you can purchase things like that up to tech level 12. So you can purchase things like guns and accessories, but don't forget that in the regular stats, Fentara is law level 7.
I'm carrying my
7.
cutlass. Or what do I have? Yeah, I think I have.
You can do that. Yeah.
I have a blade I would carry.
I don't have a blade.
I have a body pistol, but those would be considered highly illegal, I would imagine.
Yeah. I wouldn't. You
I don't carry a
anticipate any. Yeah, you don't anticipate any trouble in a built-up area
Good.
like this,
That's what we want to hear, Tomo.
even though working
Your
class.
crime history's done. You don't carry any weapons.
Judgment, judgment,
Yeah.
judgment.
He doesn't
That's all
need
there's
any
up in his head.
weapons. His fists are weapons, dude. He'll crush you.
Are you trying to hurt me here? We gotta spin this the other way.
No, I'm
No,
just talking nonchalantly.
I'm just so confident in my size that I figure nobody's going to pick on me. So
Yeah.
Unless it's someone else who's confidence in their size or ability. But hey, how tall are you? How big are you?
huge.
He looks like a sumo wrestler. Look at his picture.
That's what she says, but I don't want to look under your pants.
Yeah.
Covered in lots of tattoos.
Oh, have you got like
You can click on my
Oh.
character and see my character.
Yeah, he's.
Oh, I think I saw it. So you got one of those full body Yakuza tattoos.
That type of thing, yeah.
Okay, well then it'll have a theme. It'll look pretty cool.
Holy cow, and he's strong too. He's got 3 good.
Yeah, I do wear clothes.
Let me take
No.
you. Yeah, let me
Unusual.
move everybody back to this, maybe the ship scene or something. You can see the tokens. Oh, sorry. No, sorry. You see each other's pictures anyway in the character sheets. Yeah, Tomo has a token, but nowadays tattoos. Tomo has a tattoo, body tattoos like that. But nowadays tattoos can be anything. You know, freaks and cults and fashion fads can have tattoos, permanent, temporary. A close inspection might show that these are permanent tattoos, and they might have prison symbology to them. But you know, tattoos are more common than you think. But still, he looks like pretty fearsome, a mountain of muscle, and he has that persuade 3 where he persuades people not to hassle you. That's usually his best talent.
Yeah, I've got glaring down to a fine art.
Yeah,
Do you have a
glaring that
bowler hat?
causes a yeah.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, we're
yes,
talking
I've got
about
the
that.
oddball.
Look like
Yes,
odd job. Yeah, odd
oddball.
job.
That's it. Yes.
Develop the odd job look. If you have enough money to buy a nice black suit and some fashions and a bowler hat, you can develop the odd job persona or revive it if it hasn't been known in thousands of years. Revive that.
Yeah.
And he was a steward, wasn't he? So
He
He
was.
was.
he was. Okay,
Now,
then.
now you know
So
my character's motivation.
that's your goal. Okay, that's your
Oh,
dream.
boy.
Okay,
Give me
very
a nice
good.
dude, I can hook you up. I got cash.
But I think there was a question on the floor. You got your table. You spent your 20 credits, or Steve can spend less if he's just
No, I've
drinking
done 20. I'm just pulling
colored
with the rest
milk.
of the crew. Yep.
It's okay. And you're discussing. I think there was a question on the floor about what do you want to name your ship? You decide. You settle on a name. It'll be registered right quick, but you have to decide.
I said the Pennywise. You know, like pound
I like
stupid,
it.
Pennywise.
Pennywise and pound foolish. I like it.
Yeah, the Pennywise.
I hate it.
You're naming it after a clown.
Mm.
Could be named after a clown. Yeah, I suppose.
Hmm.
You can get the related paint job later as long as you don't
Oh,
obscure
who's got a better?
the
Who's
Argosy.
got another suggestion that we can bite on?
Get any
Well,
paint
I said
job you want as long as you don't obscure the Argosy
His
Dawn
name, Brian.
logo.
the Steppenwolf from
Steppenwolf.
my
Oh,
home
yeah.
world.
That would be good. And we got
I like
jackets.
that better. I don't like the jackets though. Jackets seem a little tacky.
Yeah.
I think I'll stick to my suit.
You prefer
That
like the
jacket would
members
be
only
good
style
in
jackets?
black and white though. If the letters were in white and the jacket was black, and you put a little
That's
collar on there.
that's doable.
Yeah, I'll go
Get the
with
members
Yeah,
only
that would be
I like
jackets.
Pennywise, but I can go with the Steppenwolf. That fun sounds good.
Are those the
All right.
only
Yeah.
2 suggestions on the floor?
Anybody else got a suggestion?
I did like the badass motherfucker, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's not going to go over so well in bureaucratic Verdulin land.
no.
Yeah.
A couple extra forms you got to fill out for Vulgar.
Yeah,
Why not the Banff?
I think I could even translate that into Verdulin if you really wanted it as the name of your ship. in Verdula, and that will, the only trouble is there is one star system that is super religious and have the adherence of something called the faith, and that's the
No,
planet
no, no.
Sancta
Yeah.
We're not doing
Fido.
that name. We're doing
You
Yeah,
it.
you
can't
We're
don't want
doing
to.
an honorable name.
you cannot
If
land
it,
your starship with a name like that on Sancta Fido.
yeah,
No
and if
way.
it's translated into Verdula, wouldn't that make it literal and no longer figurative? That would mean you have a bad rear end, and you.
You put a no in
Yeah.
the Verduna language. You put a suffix at the end of the word to make something figurative, so that's not a
Ah, okay,
problem.
good.
Oh.
This
I,
sounds a little
I
Well,
would be
should we
afraid that
take
would
a
ruin it.
vote?
do that.
I could go either way. I'll stay neutral on this. I put Pennywise out there, Steppenwolf. Anybody else have a suggestion?
Nothing in
Okay,
English.
so
Silent.
Yeah, I back
decide.
Tomo's idea.
All right, I'll go with
Tomo was
Tomo
a big
too.
deal in prison.
Steppenwolf.
Okay, I'm happy with that.
The Steppenwolf.
Somebody has to count votes. Can somebody count
We
the
don't need to
votes?
count. Well,
And
No.
We're
just
already up
so
to
far,
we're already up to 4.
yeah, and then we don't have any opposition. I didn't hear anybody jump on the Pennywise. So let's go with the
Okay. All right. So it's decided.
Virgil Ved, Steppenwolf.
Steppenwolf. Okay. So
Going on magic carpet ride.
okay. Matt, yeah, let's get these Steppenwolf jokes out here. I got a joke coming up.
Uh,
Um, so okay, so you decide on that. Anything else is talked about in the evening that I should know about?
I get the contact info for their patrol officers, or for Ronnie and Tomo, so I can contact them and strain
Oh, the
this all
parole
out.
officers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, the police statements might already include information in language like that. You figure that it might hit the desks of the bureaucrats over at the Verdulan embassy by next morning, the local work cycle time. So you're not too worried about that. That stuff would probably from the parole officers would probably be included already. And so anything else?
Can I
So
do like a
evening.
little research and see what these guys actually did? Who are these two jokers that are on my crew?
You want to
yeah,
do like a computer search or a computer search halfway hacking things to find out their records?
Yeah, why
I can do
not?
that for you.
How
I'm a
deep up the
computer expert.
government's how deep up the butts of the government computers do you want to go?
Enough where it's risky, but not too much. If I fail, I get in huge trouble.
There might have. Okay, I'm not going to lie.
Why
There
don't you
might
just
have
ask
been a
them to
little bit
tell
of
you?
violence. There might have been a little bit of violence involved.
Just a little bit. Just a little itty bitty.
Yeah, in comparison to a full-on planetary assault, just a little bit.
I trust Ved, so if he wants to help me,
yeah,
Just a little bit. Smashed a couple heads that
I
pissed
give you a
me
bit of it.
off.
Can't remember the number of knees I've
Oh, I
kept.
love it.
Okay, so you're trying.
Listen,
Okay, so
I
I'm thinking
wanted to
about a
be a
computer role.
I
yep,
wanted
I'll
to be a
make a roll now.
merchant-free trader. Life didn't turn out that way.
But you almost got
Okay.
the size of a merchant free trader ship.
I know our
Okay, so
spaceship flies
Justin,
along.
if
Yep.
if you want to use the computer route rather than actually asking Tomo and Ronnie, use the computer route. Now you disguise your origin point. That's a sort of hacker move, and
Okay.
roll the specialty computers. You have to click the button with the 3 stars and not the main electronics button. So click the button with those 3 stars, and it's not a boon or bane situation, but make a roll, and I think the effect may count for something. So the effect being by how much you succeed or fail.
Okay. So I rolled a 6 and I added the +3.
Yeah, okay, so the total is automatically given up there as a 9, which is one more than an 8, so that counts as a regular success. Like a 0 would be 8, 8 matching exactly would be a bare success. So I think you get pretty much truthful records without divulging where you're coming from. You have managed to tap into government records, which are normally confidential, but prison records are very corrupted. Um, there are companies who can get anybody's criminal record for you for $120 or something. They just bribe the appropriate officials, of which there are many, many who have access like that. But so I think you find pretty much the outlines of the truthful situation with Tomo and Ronnie. It
Yep.
takes you later into the evening to get that sort of information. And Tomo, can you summarize the truthful situation about what your prison history was? You never got paroled after 4 terms of prison. Is that
Well,
right?
yeah, that's because the, the
They had it
obviously the
against
warden
you.
had it out.
No, I just want you to say the truth, because Justin found out the basic facts of the truth. So
Yeah,
you
if
have
you
to
Okay,
want,
summarize
you
it.
can
the
whisper it
truth
to
is
me.
the
Yeah.
truth. No, it's. I'll tell you. The truth is that. See, what is the truth? See, it's so subjective.
That's a good question. We never know.
What
No one
is
knows
the
what the
truth?
truth is. What
Yeah,
is
You
truth?
know,
How many
there was
people
a
did he
there was
kill?
a there was a
Pontius
kidnapping.
Pilate said
There,
that, didn't
yeah,
he?
there was a
Okay.
kidnapping, uh, and 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 there was some standover stuff done, and I was caught up in it, and it was busted, and well, I ended up in jail. Why I didn't get
Okay.
parole? I got into a prison gang and got into trouble in prison, and just
Yeah.
ended up getting more time
Okay.
added.
So
tisk, tisk,
Tomo
tisk.
got involved in it. A breeze sort of lifted him up into this
Okay, do,
situation
do I know what
somehow.
gang he got involved in?
In prison,
Na-
Yeah.
Name
oh,
of the
I don't
gang?
know. It'll I mean, some prison gang. I worked for the big guy, for the shot
Okay.
caller of
Okay, let's avoid this big guy. All right, how bad's Ronnie?
Oh,
The
Ronnie
truth
will
about
have
Ronnie. Yeah.
Ronnie will have gone up for a theft of 200,000 credits from a private account of a corporate bigwig type guy. He will swear up and down that he didn't actually do that, that he committed other crimes, but that one was not actually him. Whether you believe him or not will be up to you, but
everyone's innocent
that
in
is what
prison.
he went up for.
Oh,
Yeah.
also, Justin, Wilson finds out one other fact, that 4,000 credits worth of legal fees buys you an absolutely crap lawyer who doesn't get the job done.
Yeah, he just phoned it in. He rolled a
Oh
3
boy.
So
with a
couldn't
plus
get you
All
2.
off.
right,
So
can we put
things
that
are
name in
thing
a file too to
yeah
not hire
Maybe a
him at
4
all?
it is.
things are nebulous about Ronnie. There's no definite truth that he was actually
Yeah.
guilty. He was trying to defend himself. You know that he occupied a prison bench for 4 years or about. That's all you know. It's the actual issues are a bit more cloudy, and there was a
Yeah.
failed legal initiative. But he ended up he
Yeah.
had fairly easy parole terms and ended up out on parole now. And
Well,
okay,
they
anything
were
else
doing a
to handle
clean out.
this evening?
They were
Yeah.
doing a clean out of the prison, so that's why we got out at the same time.
Yeah.
Okay, could be.
And I looked
Um,
after him. I looked after him because we came from the same place
yeah.
originally. Although I'm a lot
Yeah.
older than he is.
Yeah, it's very undramatic when you leave a futuristic prison. They just scan your QR code and say, "Okay, you're free to go. Just walk." And the people who can walk just walk out of the open yard, and the people who can't walk stay in, and it's that easy. This evening, unless anybody else has other suggestions, I'd like to try to move it along. Um,
Hmm.
okay, the next morning, two things happen. Um, Tomo and Ronnie get calls on their communicators about mid-morning, and it's the Verdulan functionaries, the apparatoi. They say that a very quick assessment was made about the severity of the uh, incidents compared to the prison time served, and they filled out the forms uh, basically to say that you're not at a risk to reoffend within any of the confines of the Verdulan Federation, blah blah blah, and they signed off on it, which means that you can rejoin the crew in the equal measure. And Tomo sort of has a waiver or voucher about not speaking Verdulan so well, but they don't really worry if his function is to stay in the interior of the ship and cook. And officially on paper, that's what he seems to be doing. So they don't know about necessarily about his combat ability, and they don't care. So with the Verdulan things, it's squared, and you also get a call from an office, the ground offices of Argazidon Shipping on Fentar, and they say, hey guys, have you decided what the name of your ship is going to be?
We
The
Can
have.
you hear me, guys?
Steppenwolf.
Steppenwolf. Okay. So they
The
say, great.
Steppenwolf.
Yeah, great. We'll register it. The port office will get that, and the information will spread. The Verdulans will get it, and so um, everything. We want you to come into the office. Um, we want you to come into the office by noon. As of then, you're on salary, and we'll be preparing you to ship something. Let me just check a note here. I'm just going to make a Steppenwolf joke, which comes a little bit later. Okay, let's see. Yeah, okay. So they ask you to come in about noon. Do you have any final purchases or things that you want to do before you get ready to leave?
How's our locker?
I think I filled in
Yeah.
likely stuff for what is your ship's lock-in. Now you'll notice that in the handouts way up top below the calendar, I have Far Trader, and in both the bio and info and character sheet, I wrote down stuff which is I was mainly thinking of environmental protection things. For weapons, all you got is 8 cutlasses, some sort of riot type shield, and 6 shotguns. Ask. I think you should ask.
But we have all the like vac suits and filter masks and those basic things for all of us, right? And
So
passengers.
There are breather masks. Breather masks
actually-
combine
yeah.
filter and respirator masks.
so
They're
I bought
immediately,
all of that
I'm
stuff myself.
thinking grabbing some more
don't have back
hostile
suits?
environment suits.
Oh yeah,
You do. You have tech level 12 vac suits, 8 of them.
Okay.
If you don't
Beautiful.
have your own vac suits.
I
Well,
bought
no,
my own. It's my most expensive thing I own.
no, I'll use a supply
8
book.
cutlasses too. How about that? And shotguns.
Yep.
Oh, nice,
Ooh.
nice, good. We got nice stuff. We don't need nothing. We're good.
No. We need stuff. We
What do we need?
probably
What are you
gonna want
buying?
more med
What do we
kits,
need?
so
We
more
need lots of
people can
cash.
carry med kits.
We need to make
And we
some money,
probably
man.
want
We need
more
to fly,
hostile
brother.
environment suits.
We need to fly. We need to get this boat flying.
And we can buy both of these here on this high law level world. In high tech world.
Yeah. You can possibly buy things on the Verdulan side as well. The electronics have been kind of standardized a few hundred years ago, unless you meet a very, very old ship that will not interface with your connectors and wires and whatever.
Is
You
there
have
a Russian arms dealer over there named Yugo?
Russian arms dealer. What? Well, I was going to. You may meet some sort of dealer somewhere on the Verdulan side with his way of talking English, and a shady dealer might try to treat everybody as a potential friend, and then therefore they'll say, "Hey, my friend, come in, come in. I do deal with you. Hey, my friend, come in." And you got to watch it if one of these.
You remember what I'm referring to? I know Steve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, from Steve's game.
No,
Or
no,
it's not
John's
Steve's game, but John's game.
game.
Brian's
John's
game.
game. Yeah. Hey, my friend. Yeah, you better watch out for such types because
Mhm.
when they say my friend, it's because they want to, tap you for lots of money.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
You're my friend.
Loads of money. Okay,
Insert the
but-
word
Yeah.
something else.
What-
Anyway.
Very
So can
quickly
we
do
buy-
something before noon.
Okay, so Ronnie wants to buy a geostabilizer. Can we get that on this world?
What does that do? Is that in the
General
core?
stabilizer is weapon options. It removes the
Oh,
bulky tag.
gyro stabilizer. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for one of the shotguns because I can't
That's
wield
simple.
a shotgun with a bulky tag.
Oh, yeah.
I
Okay. So
can.
some other
My low strength.
character. Okay.
Yes,
Yeah,
you're
buy
right.
one
It's
of
just a
those.
cheap add-on.
Can't
Figure
find
it would be
gyro
nice to have an
stabilizer.
option on one of those. It's on page
Oh, got it.
okay, 135.
I can use one in each hand, Ronnie.
I got a +1 strength. I can handle a bulky shotgun. In
Yeah.
fact, I own a shotgun too.
If you want to spend 500 credits with that, yeah, you can get a gyro stabilizer that will remove the issue of the shotgun, and then you just use the regular shotgun
Yeah.
stats, and I wrote them down for you in the ship locker stuff.
Hey, Ronnie,
Alright.
why don't you get a little submachine gun like I got?
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
this.
I got a laser pistol.
I'm
I'm
not gonna
good
be
with
able to
that.
find that on this world.
These shotguns here, they have little stickers on them, very tiny silvery stickers written in Verdulin, which is, I guess, your permit. Officially, they allow you these things because they think you'll be landing on a remote planet where wildlife might have to be discouraged. So they don't intend for you to use it on actual people. So that's why shotguns are so common and allowed even at a higher law level. That's why shotguns are distinct from body pistols and whatever. They think you'll use it on wildlife. But those are the stats. I wrote the stats up in the ship's locker as well. So getting a $500 gyro stabilizer removes the bulky trait.
Do
You
we have
still have
to
to,
register personal weapons with them, or they don't really care?
uh, if there are no surprises and the things that stay in the ship, you don't have to register them. I don't think I have any idea in detail what their gun control laws are. If you
We
were
don't want
working
to
for,
register any of our
yeah,
guns, man. Keep them in the
yeah.
ship's locker if we have to. Sneak them where we can get away with it. No registering guns. No registering. No
As long as you don't
forensics.
whip out, yeah, it's like in any starport. As long as you don't whip out any nasty surprises from your ship, but keep it in the ship, they will treat your ship as extraterritorial things. And if too many
Keep your
ships are
weapons in your
searched and
pants.
seized, the frontier merchants will disappear, and the Verdulan Merchants Guild doesn't want that. So they've sort of created a kind of hands-off starport within the starport and within the confines of your ship.
So
I keep thinking
let me
multiple
get this
shells.
straight here, GM. So the Verdulan Federation is sort of socialist, and they just opened up to capitalist trade, so they're ripe for trading. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's like a glasnost, a perestroika. It's some sort of. It's like I don't know of any. I don't even remember any of comparable situations, but um, they've opened it up instead of government to government deals like might have happened before. Now they're starting to do government to corporation deals. On paper, they're trying to register you as pseudo communes. So you are a commune working for the common good. It's just that you're outside the Verdulan sphere. So they sort of work the paperwork to say like that. So any corporation name you have becomes a pseudo commune on the Verdulan side, and then the Verdulan government or Verdulan communes are able to do business with you and set up trade deals. Or the simplest kind of work would be to ship freight from one Verdulan commune to another.
So Brianna Anderson's company owns this ship. We don't own it. We're just
You don't own it. No, it's the company that owns it. There are three other officers besides her, but they are trying to hold down the fort in other
one last
systems of
question though
space.
too is some of us had benefits like scout ships. Are those still in reserves? We didn't take them yet, or did
Oh,
you decide
uh,
what to do with those?
yeah. I was going to say that anybody who has ship shares, um,
Mhm.
one ship share is equal to a constant income from interest. It is due to merchant activity. It is 1,000 credits a month automatically. Okay. It can be claimed at any level A or B starport, or in the Verdulan space, you can even claim these finances from a frontier embassy or consulate. Okay, if such exists. The likelihood of one existing sort of drops as you go further away from the
And
border.
and if we don't claim it, it's like money in the bank. It accumulates, right?
It will be banked. Yeah, you can.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
In your
still
account.
So
yours.
all of us who got a ship, or instead of a ship, we're able to get 1,000 credits a month an extra
Each
pension.
each
Per ship
ship
share.
share, each per ship share is
So my
1,000
scout
credits per month.
ship is 1,000 credits a month. The fact that I earned a scout
No,
ship.
that rust bucket's only worth
That's
250 a
different.
month.
Let me see. I think I have to decide.
Okay. Remember?
Yeah, you
that's what I'm
physically.
asking because I had a scout
Yeah.
ship, in
Scout-
I think another one of us did too.
Yeah.
In my character, I actually earned a scout ship loan or loaner.
Uh-huh. That means that you somehow got a huge portion of the principal cost of a scout ship. I can maybe equate it to, I'm just thinking out loud here, I'm speculating, unless somebody has a better rule for what to do with a scout ship. I would give you the equivalent of 10 ship shares, because seeing as you hold title to the whole scout ship as opposed to just investing in
wow.
pieces of it.
So that means I'd
10.
get
It's a rusty
10,000 a
old
month.
bucket.
10,000 a month. I'm just trying to
nice.
see here. Oh, wait, except that the scout ship is not really wholly yours. It still belongs
No.
to the
You
scout
might
service.
need to think about
Yeah.
that till next week.
Yeah, okay.
I'll
I'll leave it open. Yeah, because I'm
we'll just shelf that and think about
yeah.
it. We don't need to waste too much time on
Yeah,
that.
because I'm buzzed on what is it? Brisk Zero iced tea. I'm all buzzed on that. I'm not thinking straight.
All right, the captain wants to buy one more med kit and then 2 more hostile environment vac suits. I don't
Okay.
think there's anything
I think
else you
Jen
really
bought her own
need.
med kit, but let me just
Oh, did she? Okay,
very
so
quickly just refer to Jen's character sheet. Astria Gaydon.
She's our medic.
Is there one on the ship itself?
Yeah,
she's our
I'm just
medic.
trying to see if her inventory. She does have her own personal med kit, but you
Okay.
probably want one for the ship. Now, med kits in Traveler Mongoose. This is a tech level 12 med kit, so for first aid, medic checks relating to first aid only, it's a +2 on the roll. But I'm just telling you, Jen has her own. If you want, there's her own. There's an extra one in the ship's locker. Do you want to buy yet another one? Tech level 12 is like, I think, 4,000. Do you want to buy another one?
The ship, she has one. Who's the other person who has medical skill?
I do.
I've got medic skill.
I
So
have medic one.
You have
Yes,
medic
same.
one?
Yeah, I've got
Tomo
medic-
does as well.
Medic one.
I acquired that skill. That was from the pool of skills I got.
All right, we're by one more. That way each
I've
of
got
our
one.
medics have their own separate med kit.
Do the medics want to buy their own personal skills? Like on the if I go by my preferred or favorite thing, which is the skill grid, who has a reasonable medic roll at the moment? It is
Just a med one for me.
Well, it's an
Astria is definitely the
education or
medic.
intelligence. I'd have a high med roll. It depends on the stat you want to use. Because I think my intelligence is a 0, but my education is a +2.
If you want to buy personally buy med kits, even though you're level 0 plus your DMs, whatever it is,
Mm-hmm.
you can do that. It's only personally funded, and you have a personal med kit. If you want to bug the Argosy Dawn Corporation, Argosy Dawn Shipping Corporation to buy a med kit for you, you can put in a form and maybe wait a day or two, and they'll probably agree to it. But that's, you're talking about the Argosy
We already
bureaucracy.
got a med kit. Good.
Yeah.
And our main
How much
medic
is
has
that
the
med
med
kit?
kit.
What's
Yeah,
that?
How much is the med kit?
she's a Doc Astria is they have 5,000 for a ticket.
Varies
Oh, right.
varies by tech level. Tech level 12 is, I think, 5,000. Right.
5,000 grants plus
Right.
2 on mid checks.
We're not doing no
For
I'll
way.
give you the
aid.
tech level 12, but not the tech level 14 one.
No, I'm fine.
All right, I'm buying one.
How do they spell med kit here? I can't find it in the book. Med kit as
It's
one
Page
word.
med
114.
E kit with a
Ah.
little I in between.
Medic kit. Ah,
Yeah.
okay. Got it. So, let's see. So nobody buys their own personal med kit other
got my
than
own
Jen,
already.
other than
How much are
Astria's
they?
character. For tech level 12, as I said, it's 5,000 big ones, and
No, I ain't
there's a lot
buying one.
of diagnostic
using the company.
abilities.
The hell with
No,
that.
my one doesn't have any bonuses. It's just whatever the
Mhm.
base level was.
I'm gonna buy one with bonuses, so I'll pay for that, and then I want the hostile environment suits. 'Cause
We have
want
some already.
protection. Yeah, we
Yeah.
only got 2 already though.
How many
So I want
engineering
2
kits
more.
Yeah.
we got on board the ship?
How many what?
Engineering kits.
Oh, that's
I
a
have an
good point,
engineering
too.
toolkit myself
Right, I've got a mechanical
and a
one.
mechanics toolkit.
Yeah, we only have 1 electronics toolkit on board.
What's your character's name again, Steve? Sorry.
C. Sil.
C.
C. S-I. C.
Well, you're in the area right
Power.
next door to me. If you need to
Yeah.
use mine, you can use
Yeah.
the tools because we won't always need the same thing. Very unlikely,
It's
unless you
highly
want to buy your
unlikely.
own one, of course.
Captain, when are we gonna
bit of
fly this
money.
bucket?
Once I get my vac suits.
I'm ready to let's give her a fly, man. Let's get going. Let's haul some shit. I'm
We're
ready to
doing
go.
shopping. I don't have a price on vac suits yet.
We have vac suits. We got 8 of them. There's 8 of us. Let's go.
Aisle 5.
Yeah, what happens when your vac suit has a hole in it?
We fix it. We don't have holes in it.
We're buying
Hey,
surplus.
Fine,
We've got
shit.
duct tape and engineering. Get
Yeah.
on it.
Duct tape and
That's how
engineering.
most of
All
this
right,
shit
I
is held
want
together.
to buy 2 hostile environment vac suits, and I want to buy 1 more
We
of
have
the
8
tech level
already.
12 med kit.
Buy
So
some more duct tape.
that's what I'm gonna hand to you, Pierre, and then we can get going.
You're handing a request for what exactly again? The
Duct tape.
The tech level 12 medi kit, and then the 2 hostile environment vac suits. Tell me how much that costs. I'll denote it from my money. And then we
okay.
can go.
Tomo knows his way around some duct tape.
Medikits,
Yeah,
5,000. Medikits, 5,000 credits each. The hostile environment vac suits was again just from using the core rulebook.
That's a lot of money, man.
It's they're bigger.
You got a lot of money?
Are you
Not anymore.
You're requisitioning it from the company, or do you want to make it a personal purchase?
I will try to requisition it from the company. Free stuff's always good.
Okay, hostile environment vac suit. I think I gave you the what is it? Level 10 model.
You gave me the 13.
Each. Oh, 13. Sorry, 40,000 each.
Oh, yeah, I don't have money for that. That we're definitely gonna have to.
Because you can probably requisition it from the company, wait a day or 2 if they try to scare up and buy that thing. I mean, it's off the rack.
As a
can
company,
be bought.
I tell you, no, we got enough of this shit.
The clerk of the small Argosy Dawn Bureaucracy has to do it. If you buy it off your personal funds, it's off the rack. It's much quicker. But this may be settled for you, and I'll explain why. I just need to step away from the mic just for a moment. Sorry about that. You can think about what else you might want to cram in the ship's locker. Just a moment, please.
No problem.
I'll buy myself an engineering kit.
Got
the money.
Bathroom break.
Little bathroom break. Say hi to my little friend Tomo. Yeah. Couple of those on your belt buckle, ready to pop out. Looks like a
That's
belt
the story.
buckle to me. Yeah. Double belt buckle. With your
Peace and love.
bonus too. And then
Peace
effect
and
does
love.
extra damage. Ooh.
I do 2d6. I do 2d6 damage with those.
Oh man.
Normally with melee you do 1d6, I think. Or no, you do. What is it?
I'm pretty sure
Unarmed
it's 1d6 plus your strength.
Yeah. Well, I do 2d6 plus my strength, and I'm on plus 4 to hit with them as well.
Wow.
Yeah, your melee is crazy.
Yeah, you don't want to be punched by him, man. Not a good idea.
I call him crazy,
Well,
man.
it seems to be
I
punched
think
by
he's
him.
doing more damage than my cutlass would.
You sure your cutlass does 3D?
Oh no, my cutlass does 3. So I would.
I
could take a fight.
Smart weapon.
Yeah, but if he punches you,
actually, I can't.
You're not gonna do too well.
He has soak where I don't. I have 26 health, and he has like, I want to say 35.
I've got my physical stats are 12, 10, 13.
Yeah, he'll make you.
So he's got 9 more stats to just soak up damage than me.
Yeah.
I also have a stun stick.
Stun stick's good.
Good a stunner.
It stuns you for it does temporary damage to your endurance, I believe. Well, I'm thinking the wrong. And then it'll stun you for so many rounds. You can't do anything. And then after those rounds, you get your endurance back. So you're pretty well obsolete, which means you could take more damage or be cuffed or whatever.
I'm sorry, I'm back. So you can get a med kit.
Yep,
you can
I
even
bought one.
requisition it quick from the company, but what about the hostile environment suits?
I don't got the money for those.
For fuck's
No.
sake,
We have
So-
enough already, man.
Okay.
So
The
we're
hostile
we're gonna
environment
be
is
out of
only if
luck if something breaks.
yeah. Well, it's only if 1 or 2 people have to repair the ship in a hostile atmosphere and can safely go outside,
Yep.
do the repairs while the other people stay safe. So I guess that's the reasoning of giving 2 and only 2, because they're expensive, heavy things. And you need VacSuit 1 skill to run them. Now, who here has VacSuit 1?
Yes.
Yes.
Or modified?
Nope.
Okay, okay. So
I think I do, don't I? I should.
people who are engineering types or mechanic repair types could therefore do things like that in that situation. So it's
Yeah,
something to think about. Do you want to add anything else to the ship's locker?
Plasma gun man portable. No, I'm just kidding.
No.
We can't get that on this world. It's too high law.
Yeah, I want
Man, we're
to
gonna shoot it in close proximities. I imagine it'll do the same thing like in
Yeah.
Classic Traveler. Do you remember that game, Mantar? Weren't you
Oh
playing?
yeah, that
Yeah.
was yeah,
Some dipshit decided to shoot it off, but we're all in the same room and we all got effed up.
yeah. It was like
Oh yeah,
10 feet away or something, 5, 10
indoors.
feet.
I remember him.
Indoors.
Yeah.
Indoors,
That
yeah.
was great fun.
I thought it was one of those game wreckers who decides to do just anything at all to wreck the game with and destroy characters
Wasn't
or
it
whatever.
Victor?
But anyway,
Who shot that thing?
John.
Yeah,
John.
it might have been Victor. I don't know.
John's character.
John's
It
got
was,
Maybe he
yeah,
thought,
yeah.
different
you know,
game though.
let's not
Yeah.
blame the player when the character,
Yeah.
possessed his body and the character made him do it.
It was a scary
Okay.
situation, and he shot and didn't realize what it would do. I guess.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And, hey, have a nice dose of radiation, everybody.
Okay. So one thing happens though, I think, and this is what I was going to talk about anyway, but it's triggered by the fact that you bought an extra med kit, so that's fine. You could place it, and the second med kit does arrive,
Okay.
maybe carried by a big, huge drone that lands right in front of your bay in the dock. But then you get a buzz a couple of minutes later, and to the nominal captain, Capitano Wilson, who's and the flash, the ID, the call ID, basically futuristic call ID says Verdulan Embassy. You answer?
I
Come on,
answer.
Captain.
This is Captain Wilson After What of the Steppenwolf.
Okay, so if we're getting on by noon or so, he says, basically, good afternoon, Capitano. This is the Verdulan Embassy calling back. We have been advised about new purchases and new additions to your ship equipment, and we were told that you have 2 medkits now, but then we look at the records. Your medkits need a software upgrade, because if you're going into the Verdulan Federation, you may be called to deal with alien species that we have on our side, but that you do not have on your side. So you need a memory upgrade of all of your med kits, which we will try to do, virtually by connection, and try to do that within the hour. We think we can take an hour. Are you about to take off?
We ain't
It's a
going
yeah.
nowhere because you keep messing around.
Yes, we were
tried to
about
be
to
very
take off.
efficient. We were efficient about the people with the prison records. What are you talking about? We were very, very
I didn't
fast.
say that to him. I said it to the
Quiet,
captain.
Brogan. They can overhear you.
Yeah, it's beautiful stereo microphone, beautiful pickup, beautiful
Uh,
acoustical
I
microphones
can
of the
hear
future.
everything.
He
I'm
heard
gonna
that.
go make a coffee. I walk
Yeah.
out of the room.
Who is that man? No, we did our very best. Some of us work into the night to
He's the
process all the
lowest
merchants
rank
who
on
want
the
to.
ship. Don't worry about him.
Okay.
Yeah, Lois
All right.
blew you
Well,
into an asteroid.
we will ask you to connect to a place, get a software upgrade for each of your medkits, and and you have two. Does anybody else have medkits which are personally registered?
Yeah.
No, only two.
What?
Only two?
We're not doing it. Waiting for a third one, man. Only two.
Okay,
No,
two.
tell the captain, I got one. Let's not break any rules here, Captain.
Okay, three.
Jen went too.
Oh,
Yeah, I got my own too, Captain.
Each med is
Oh,
okay.
Oh,
Is
I
okay. Is okay.
forgot.
Is
Someone
okay.
on board. I kind of scowl at C. Someone at board has one too. That's three.
I
Look,
think
I
Tomo
want
has
to
one
get
as
it done.
well.
It's okay. It's okay. You can have three. You can have four. It doesn't matter. You each upgrade the same way. Is software upgrade. It is through the company that makes the med kits. They have to
Mm-hmm.
add extra data, which is for alien species on the Verdulan side, which you have not had an update for. I
Oh.
saw.
Yes,
I saw the
very
version
good.
number. Okay, I saw
We
the
know.
version number of
Is
the
it
med
done
kit
yet?
you
Can we
have and the
take
med
off?
kit you just delivered. Well, okay, so they arranged something, and it may take a matter of 30 or 40 minutes to go to the appropriate company link and upgrade the software on MedKit. Okay, so MedKit
Oh.
software
Jesus.
upgrade.
you
I'm gonna
realize
spend the
every
time
time
getting
we
used to
do
the.
something, they're going to be up our ass. I don't say that out loud in front of this guy, but I'm
Oh,
saying,
they've done their very best. All your papers are very clear. You are pristine. You are ready to land at the first port of entry on the Verdulan side. You have to get a mission, though, from the Argosy Trading Company, and they will tell you what your first delivery is. And in fact, there are some crates waiting on the dock which might be yours. You haven't gotten a word yet, but by about one or so, um, you're now on the salary, and I'm going to figure that you each make a standard salary according to the traveler book for each of your jobs on board
Yeehaw.
ship, your ship roles, like 5,000 or 6,000 a month for the credits a month for the captain or the
Does
pilot, I should
Tomo
say.
have gunner skill, or is he really our steward?
Tomo has gunner skill as well. Tomo can tell you, and I can look it up too.
I don't have gunner
No,
skill.
Oh
you
boy.
have. Oh yeah, personal gun combat skill. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
don't want to
yeah.
get gun
No,
combat and gunner
I'm the
confused.
steward. Mine is it's 2000
Yeah,
period.
the best gunner would be Ved, which is
Yeah.
Mantar's. Sorry.
pilots get banked, man. We get paid good, five,
Yeah.
6,000, I think.
Yeah, I've got a
So
good gunnery skill.
best the gunner is Ved. Virgil and Wilson can also act as gunners. Um, and who picked up the gunner one in the ship package? That was that
It went to
Wilson?
Jen.
I think Jen got it.
Oh, Jen has it. Oh,
Medic.
okay.
Oh
So
yeah. Yep.
all right.
Jen has
So
it.
I don't want to
Skill for
miss noting
managing
that,
attacks.
and I'll note
Who's
it in
gonna be
red.
our peaceful character?
I kind of took medic because I knew she couldn't take medic, so that's why we left her with gunner. She didn't
So
be wise.
I think she was probably trained in such a way like when they train Ripley on the use of that over under assault rifle thing. So gunner one
And
plus
not
what
hurt
is,
people with a big
Shadows.
ship
yeah.
gun? Okay.
I could have given her some pointers when she
I am
fixed the armor.
adding the gunner skill to Jen. It's turret gunner. Let's see, the gunner and intellect increases that, so it's 1+1 in her case. So now she knows how to fire a,
She's a
you
good
know,
gunner. Decent
marked,
gun.
well, 1+1. Yeah.
Mm.
Pretty good.
Let's see.
Can I ask
Save.
a mechanical question here as
Yeah.
far as the ship goes? Do we have our own staterooms,
Mm-hmm.
or are we going to be taking passengers, therefore cramming into other
There are
staterooms?
there are now how many characters? One, two, three,
There
four,
should be
five,
eight
six, seven,
characters,
eight,
right?
counting Jen. Yeah.
Yep.
8 characters. So
And
you
9
have 10
staterooms.
staterooms. It leaves only 2 staterooms left
10?
for.
I think there's only 9.
No, there
Let's
should be
see.
10 on a free trader or a far trader.
There seems to be
1,
3
2,
staterooms
3,
for this for the
4,
crew.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh no, there's 10. That's right. Yep.
I know the pilot gets his own room.
That's the captain. Oh
No,
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 the
the
pilot
pilot.
needs to be close.
Yeah, I get the room right by the
Oh,
bridge, man.
listen to them, guys.
Yeah.
Gets the sleeping bag draped on the wall so he can just jump in it and be tied
If
up.
you can write
Oh.
in very small letters who wants each stateroom assigned, and as I see it, let me bring the scale of the map down again. There
I'll just take
are
the one nearest the engineer.
there are 3 staterooms labeled number 3 on the main floor, and on the top extension of the far trader, there are 7 more staterooms.
I get one of the
Count
number
them.
3 rooms to myself because that's close to the bridge.
They're all labeled number
The
3.
lower deck. I get one of
Yeah.
those.
Yeah,
I
that's
think I
3.
prefer the one to the left.
3 staterooms in the lower deck and 7 big staterooms in the upper deck. They're exactly identical geometrically, except that one is on its, some are on their side access, some are on their lengthwise access, whatever. And I don't know why there's that projection there. I think it's to make a closet.
Or a fresher or something, whatever.
No, you have only one fresher. Are there individual freshers?
God, I hope so.
That'd be
Each
cool.
stateroom should have a fresher.
The number 6 things are a fresher. There's one fresher on the
That's
main
like
floor and one
that'd
on the upper floor. Number
that'd be
6 is
like
fresher.
that'd be like an extra one, wouldn't they? I thought the staterooms had a
I
fresher.
thought staterooms have freshers. You better check on
You
that.
can maybe go in the corner of your closet and it won't be noticed for weeks.
Maybe we got one of those little pull down toilets like he had on Firefly. You know where he pulls down the shelf and he can take.
Yeah, that's possible.
Yeah,
The
and with a
fresher
little
is more
sink,
like a full shower, a shower facility as well,
with a little
and
pisser.
stuff to because there's only 1.5 meter squares here, so you probably do have individual toilets.
Yeah, you are the gem. Yeah, I got one of them little like. Remember Firefly when he had the little shelf
Yeah.
he pulled out and he pissed in it and he pushed it
And
back
then he
in.
replaced it. Yeah. So.
And then
so
tomorrow we drink it.
You can't.
Yay!
That's
You
after
can.
you cook it. Quick with it.
You can't avoid shitting where you eat. Then okay. So anyway, I don't worry too much about the geometry of that, but what I was going to say is the Verdulans are trying to do a crack job, and they get all the declared medikits on board updated because it's just extra information you couldn't possibly have had on your side of the border anyway. So that's fine. It's just medical information, charts of aliens. You might still be at -1 to try to do first aid on an alien or something. It depends on the situation. You're guided by all this data and information. But that's settled. Around noon, you also get what your job is going to be. And I'm going to try to illustrate that on one of the subsector maps. Let me see. I'm going to just transfer you momentarily to this subsector map. So you're getting these orders from Brianna herself. Whoops, 100% scale.
Yeah, we're on Fentara right now,
Yeah,
right? Yep.
you're here.
Yep.
That's right. The planet Fentara, highly populated. Now, what she wants you to do is that this is a freight delivery, and it's going to it's very routine. It's going to the planet which is called Calcaneo on the Verdulan side, or sorry, the system is called Calcaneo, and this
That's
is
a little
up
bit of a
here.
haul.
That's good.
Yeah,
That's good.
it would probably be 2 jumps to get there. 2 jumps. Okay.
I think 3.
1,
Three.
2,
3
3.
jumps, brother.
3
'cause
jumps.
we got to jump 2. That's 3 jumps.
1,
We're
2,
on
3. You're right.
Fentara.
3 jumps. 3 jumps. Excuse me. Now, if you can zoom your scale up maybe a bit more to 120 or so on. The suggested route, if I show it as waypoints, would be like this, 2 parsecs to here, 2 parsecs to this planet, which might have a supply problem because it's not a water planet or a gas giant on it. And whoops, can't get it to where. Oh, I know what I did.
Q.
There. Okay. So your
Yep.
destination, your final destination is the Calcaneo system. And now here's the situation. The planet Calcaneo, not very highly populated, but that's not your final destination. You are going to the other planet orbiting the star in this system, and that planet is called Fredeo. The orbit tables actually have something called Calcaneo orbits, and it shows. Well, this is like Traveler 5 stats and somewhat obsolete information from the other version of the game, but Calcaneo is the main world in the third orbit. The third orbit basically corresponds to an Earth position orbit, 93 million miles from its star, something like that.
Agriculture rich world.
Yeah, that's right. So it's a main world, but further out by
Orbit 5.
orbit 5, you have a large gas giant, which is Hephaesto.
Hephaesto.
So it's one of those huge gas giants. Now, Hephaesto probably doesn't mean anything to you, but if I type up the name, like during the war, many times systems change sides, and so some planets have both a Verdulan name and a and an Anglic name. So the name of Hephaesto in English would be Hephaestus, which, if you remember, was one of the Greek gods. God of forges and fires in hell or something like that.
Oh boy.
Let me just see here. So that's
Yeah.
where the name
That's,
Hephaesto comes up. Greek god of blacksmiths, metalworking, carpenters.
Okay.
Roman god Vulcan is the counterpart of Hephaestus. So Hephaestus, Vulcan,
And we're going to
same thing.
Probably
Fredale, the
more
ice world of Fredale.
violent.
That's right. Now, Fredeo is one of the planets orbiting
A
the
moon.
gas giant. It's much colder, but it still manages to gain enough warmth to have like Arctic type temperatures, but it is an orbit, and orbit O is a certain number of rings around the gas giant Hephaesto, A, B, C, D, E, H, D, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O. So it's quite a ways off of the main world, not
Ooh.
ever eclipsed by the gas giant. So it pretty much sees the sun, but the sun is much smaller. So orbit
No.
5 is about in the asteroid orbit area, like similar to the asteroid belt.
Am I reading this right? It's technology level 14 and it has no government or law level.
No,
And it has
doesn't.
thousands
Yeah.
of populations.
That's right. That's
Ooh.
right. Because
Okay.
because of the population. And here's the big reveal. The reason it's got a high tech level but no law level is because Fredeo is the planet where, beyond all expectations, a bunch of robots became self aware. So they don't count as living beings. So they're not on the population.
Yeah,
Oh, shit.
cool.
And the story was that this planet used to be a large factory. Fredeo was a planet off of the main world of the system, like the garden agricultural world, further closer to the sun, that's fine. Um, but Fredeo was attractive because it had a lot of iron ore deposits and other metal deposits. So a massive automated factory of robots was set up here, and it was by a commune on the Verdulan side called the Fer Labor commune. Fer Labor means iron workers, and the Fer Labor commune. Um, it was, well, okay, the text tells you. The Furlabor, let me try to paraphrase the text of the handout here.
Oh boy.
So, Fredeo is a moon of the gas giant Hephaesto, but in English it's Hephaestus. Um, and it's a world rich in metals, but it's cold. It's very hard for humans to live here comfortably. Um, the There was an economic downturn, and it caused the Furlabor commune to close this place down in 1093. So that was about 12 years ago. It lay dormant, but the computer running the robots, and the computer had a particular name, which was the Materials Network Operations Staff and Energy Regulator, and its initials, if you write them together, um, is this name, Mater Noster, and Mater Noster is our mother in Latin. And what Mater Noster did is it somehow got bored and updated itself, and it started to experiment with a sophisticated mix of library and management modules, and it started to exchange software with the entire robotic staff. And somehow the synergistic processes caused them all to be self-aware. And it's believed that um, because they were exchanging software between Mater Noster and the individual robots, somehow it triggered self-awareness. Um, these were general purpose robots that could be used to replace a factory worker, and they were from the Rossum company, which was actually on the frontier side. So it's not a Verdulan commune. The Rossum Corporation makes robots. So they made Rossum Universal Robots. And so this model of robot always has the initials RUR and then a number after it. So pictured is RUR12. Very humanoid looking, very whatever, but he's looking at you from what used to be the factory showroom where the Furlabor Corporation would show the finished metal products in a showroom, which is attached off the main factory. There's a foundry. The foundry splits off into various tubes where molten iron is cooled and shaped into various metal parts, and the metal parts are further processed and sold all over after that. But there was an economic downturn. They shut off the factory. Meanwhile, the robots became self-aware, and since the world was abandoned by Furlabor commune and was considered salvage, it was considered claimed by the first intelligent beings on the scene, and that turned out to be the robots. So they're stuck in a legal conundrum. The Verdulans had no choice but to admit the robots as full members with a political representative onto the Verdulan Presidium.
So
And
they have their own
Furlabor,
government now. The robots run
yeah,
the world.
well, the robots run this
This
particular
world
world. That's
within the
right,
world,
nothing
yeah.
more. And because they were part of the Verdulan Federation, they get a detachment of Verdulan Colonial Marines, or VKM, and the Verdulan Colonial Marines restrict the entry inside or outside of the system until such time as the Verdulans can be taught in defense infrastructure. So something is being done about that. Now, the Furlabor commune does not like this. To them, they still see the robots as their property, and they're trying to do all sorts of legal actions to try to get the robots back. So you might, depending on how many
Oh, this could
Furlabor
get
workers
hairy.
there are in, yeah, you have to stop at Calcaneo because there's no life support on Fredeo itself. You know, the population is zero. The robots are not used to catering to humans. You have to stop in Calcaneo if you have life support needs. You know, and the fuel needs are, there's no gas giant on, well, there is a gas giant. Yeah,
Yeah, we could go to the gas
circling,
giant. If we have
it's
enough
circling
life
it.
support, we
Yeah,
could go straight there. We have to
you
just make
can,
sure we have
it's the
enough
same
life
gas
support.
giant as where Fredeo is. So
Do we
that's
know
fine.
what
That's
we're
okay.
taking then? What is the load? What is the cargo? Or is that anonymous?
Yes. The cargo is from the Rossum Corporation. Going back to the map for a moment. Oops, it's not on that map. I'm sorry, guys. I might have to go to the bigger map after all. Um, it's just the amusing interconnectedness of all things. Um, if you zoom your map, the big sector map to about 150%, you're on Fantara here right now. Okay, whoops, I'm sorry. Yeah. You're on
The deep
Fantara, which is
sulfur
right
drilling.
here.
Yeah.
The thing about the waypoint is like that. Um, now, what happened is that the Verdulans are in need of one thing, which is spare robot parts. They don't breathe, they don't worry about the cold, but what they have a problem with is spare parts. They wanted to assure the supply of the spare parts. Originally, the robots were manufactured on the frontier side on a planet which is right here called Technica. Technica is ultimately named because of its high technological level, science tradition. It has the best. It has the best university for technical matters, like comparable to MIT or something. Like if you're talking about a university for technology, Technica is it, and Rossum Robots is on this planet. So it's in kind of a stealth move, so as not to go through Verdulan space this way. it was felt that to avoid any problems with the fur enthusiasts, especially on the mining asteroids of Araneo and also Jumako. These planets are Furlabor strongholds too, with a lot of mining going on as well. So what Rossum did is they decided that they were going to ship the replacement robot parts, really high tech stuff, all the way to Fentara first, and then you guys are supposed to ship them on by, I think, the most likely path that presents
Yep.
itself is like this, sort of making an end run around the Furlabor sympathizers. But you might still have a lot of Furlabor contact on the main world of the system, which is Calcaneo. I always name the system after the biggest world, and Fredeo is not the most populated world. Technically, it has 0 sentience on it.
Can I
Um,
ask you a quick question? Do you have a
yeah,
breakdown for every system?
a
Like
breakdown of what?
all the planets and orbits and shit too?
No, actually,
Okay.
yes. The spreadsheet ultimately has it, but when the website utility when it was working, I was able to ask for a particular system, and it would make me a little orbit table. So I got some for a few things. Ultimately, it is in the spreadsheet, but it's in a harder form to. It's not in a pretty format. I may end up giving you screenshots of this, and it shows, that it shows the stars and then the planets and then the moons orbiting planets. If it's a gas, well, only if it's a gas giant. If it's a gas giant, it will show you what's orbiting the gas giant or orbiting another star. So it is there on an Excel spreadsheet. It's made prettier by little
So
tables
you
like
have a
this.
whole lot of data for this sector. Is what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
well,
Yeah.
it's just to keep you aware that there are other worlds other than the main world in a system sometimes.
Yeah.
So in this case, you have to worry about Calcaneo. Calcaneo is the main world. It is an agricultural planet, population in the tens of millions. Their main deal would be agriculture, but there might still be some Furlabor operations or Furlabor sympathizers, and they know that further off into the orbit, a bunch of robots suddenly got sentient on them. The robots also have a big disadvantage because they don't know about the world. Their education stat is collectively 5, and it never goes above 5 for anybody. They are hoping to fan out across the universe and find out more about the universe. And the more the robots report to Mater Noster, it'll raise everybody's education stat eventually to 6. And then they hope they go on to 7 and so on. But it's a slow, difficult process. They're trying to get used to the world. They have a political representative on the Verdulan Presidium now, so they're considered sentient. It's just that some people are not accepting of their sentience, and that's especially those
They'd
influenced by
like to keep them
Furlabor.
ignorant. Is what you're saying. There's forces at
Probably,
will that would prefer to keep them ignorant.
yeah. Well, they're trying to maybe they're without seeming to, they might want to try to block things, and the Furlabor basically has the equivalent of a robot hospital. It's a bunch of robots sitting around waiting to have replacement arms and legs and eyes replaced, but they're never coming. And that's what your
Yeah.
shipment is for. They want to be more independent and they want to repair their defective comrades. So that's what the robots
Yeah.
need. And they paid money to get the parts from their old company. They were made by Rossum's robots long time ago. Now they're paying to get some parts, and eventually they will probably go into business for
Well,
themselves.
for us to take these parts that far, it's got to be worth some money to our company.
That's
So
right.
let's rock and roll, man. Let's
Yeah,
go.
yeah. You're being paid a certain amount, which is basically it's a freight plus amount. I haven't calculated it yet, but as you correctly observed, there's
Well,
3 jumps to do.
we're
And
salary. We're just making the trip,
yeah,
and the company. You can tell us that
yeah.
later because the company's making the money. We just
You're
have to
you're
do it.
learning about the job just about the same time as the heavy crates are being loaded into your
So
cargo bay.
how many extra tons of space do we have?
Mm.
This shipment comes out to 40 tons. Since you
Okay.
have 63 tons in the FAR Trader, you can click the FAR Trader sheet and it
Yep.
gives you all the data.
So
I
we have
hope you.
23 extra empty tons. We might be able to do a little side deal here.
Yeah, I think
Mhm.
it's
That's
You
exactly
may.
what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now your jump 2 kind of constrains you to go through Dracovenco,
Yep.
which is a cosmopolitan type of planet. Population. I got it. I had it right here automatically here somewhere. Orbit tables again. Handouts, handouts,
Yeah, it's
subsectors, and
on the
orbits, orbit
orbits.
tables. Dracovenco. Population stat is not there. There it is. Not coming up. Come on, come up.
Is it
Millions.
6? Yeah.
6 in the millions, and there's actually an extra digit somewhere here. Six times 6 times a million, so 6 million. It's the Traveler 5 is a bit more precise in population, but Calcaneo is a backwater. Only has population. Well, population is actually slight. It's actually more than Dracovenco. So what am I saying? Calcaneo is 10 million, agriculturally centered. In between is the world of Yanto, which is probably your second stop. You want to avoid Janguno. Janguno is one of those heavily populated worlds where they have buildings upon buildings, and it's sort of like the movie THX 1138, if you ever remember that.
Mhm.
It's got a huge population density because of whatever historical circumstances, and you can never ever really land on Janguno because it has so many layers of orbiting space stations and things. So if you have cargo for Janguno, you're never really going to land on it. You're going to be taken care of in some orbiting space station in some shell. So it's real hell to get in and out of Janguno because of the traffic control and processing time that you need. So you do not want to land on Janguno for any reason, unless you had a
Well,
really, really
fuck
good mission.
Shanguno.
Yeah. So you bypass it. I think your likely route is kind of geometrically constrained.
Dracovenco.
Yeah,
And then
E
Yanto.
population.
Nobody knows so much about Yanto. Its population is given as
Well, we're gonna
on the
have to buy.
ground.
They're gonna have to give us credits because it's a B starport, so we're gonna have to buy fuel there because
Yep.
there's
Mhm.
no gas giant or hydrographics. You can see that
That's
from the
right.
map. So we have to buy fuel there.
Yeah.
Well, I was looking at the table, and Yanto is orbit 6, but orbit 7 does have a small, like, water source.
Ice World.
It might be. It
Huh.
says 552.
Yanto is okay. Orbit 7 seems to be a hospitable world. The population is very, very low. It's like only maybe a bunch of scientists or something on it, or one family, that
Yep.
level. But if it's a hospitable world, I don't know if it has water or not. Well, it probably does have a water somewhere. It has. Oh, there it is. Two hydrographics. So that's
Yeah.
20% water.
So
Okay,
that's
so
where,
you're right.
I was thinking. And that was the other thing I was going to ask about this ship. I'm assuming it has scoops and
Yeah, it's a far trader. It should
something that
Hmm.
changes from unrefined to refined fuel.
purification system.
Yeah, it has a
Do
purification.
you have the ship
system.
stats on here?
In the
No, you just
let me
have
see.
the.
So, isn't it
Oh yeah,
if
he
you
does.
click? Yeah, if you click for a trader, you can click character.
Click the
Yeah, there we
character
go.
sheet. If you click character
Oh, and
sheet,
he's
you
got
get a
it done
ship
in
sheet.
Mongoose stats. I see it. Yeah, I see the character sheet. Yeah, I'm on it now. J2
Okay, so we
4
got
weeks
40 tons a
operation.
day for
It
fuel.
You
does
got
say
it, and
both
it's
fuel
completely
scoops.
Mongoose too.
Yeah,
Wow.
it does say both fuel scoops and fuel processors. So I detailed the sheet for
Yeah,
you,
we're
except I'm
good. We
going to
got
add.
that.
Yeah, there. You also have 2 weapons I haven't shown yet. I will add the weapons.
Double turret. Yeah, you do. You got them on there.
Oh, there it
Pulse
is.
laser
Okay,
and
so
missile.
weapons.
Yeah, we have a
Power.
pulse laser and a missile
Okay,
rack on each turret.
Cool.
I have to figure out what the power requirements are if you're
And a
firing
model
weapons.
a Model 5
Yeah.
BIS is basically a Model 1 BIS, which the
Right.
BIS allows us it allows us the ability to make a jump to.
Yeah,
We
yeah. So
just
all the stats
Yeah.
All the
Oh,
stats
so
are in
we're
the
only
book.
trust one. Okay.
Oh, and I can name the ship now because you said Steppenwolf.
Yep.
I can change the name of that. Our trader to be named is now the Steppenwolf.
Can we get enough life support? How much life support can we carry for the 8 of us? We have no passengers. We're maybe looking at a cargo.
We
I
might
would
want
say,
passengers.
huh?
Well, I don't know. I don't know who wants to go to Yanto.
We only have 2 empty staterooms. I would say
Mm.
skip the
If
passengers. If you could find a cargo that's worth buying cheap and selling, that's different.
if you wanted
Otherwise,
to rent out if you wanted to rent out the staterooms, you have 2 staterooms to do that with, but the passengers in question would be mixing with the crew. It's no longer a situation. Well, okay, I guess they have to anyway.
Yeah.
But okay, I am renaming the ship. Oh, what happens?
the Steppenwolf.
Tomo's gonna have to show his steward skill.
I certainly wouldn't want to bitch about his food, even if it does taste bad.
Yeah, you should see my meat cleaver.
Oh, Brian, oh, you're
I got to get one of those. I got to get one of those aprons, with
Oh
food
yeah,
smeared all over it.
yeah.
No, I learned proper. I learned proper how to do it properly in prison.
Okay,
It was
so what else can I tell you about the situation? Oh, from this is it's not a proper handout. It's from back in the artwork thing. But for let me see what else I can say because I want to say it for the recording. Um, the efficient and tireless Fridaans have inherited a massive manufacturing infrastructure, but they may not be able to figure out what the market is interested in. You know, what is the market for certain manufactured items? You don't just start a factory just like that. You have to know where the demand is. So if there were any human partners who wanted to guide their industry, that could be massively profitable. And I said their education stat right now is stuck at 5 for everybody, which has to do with general knowledge of the system, the uh, universe, which they don't really have. They recognize that they're ignorant of the human and Sophont societies around. Sophont means any intelligent non-human aliens.
Do you realize we might be able to make a lot of money off of them if we educate a couple of them, bring them aboard the ship, and start
Yeah,
showing them information about shit?
You
Oh,
know
yeah,
how we might get killed by people who don't like the robots?
yeah. Oh, by the way, they will speak your language. They speak future English. You probably will not be able to speak Fredaean because Fredaean sort of
Nope.
sounds like that
I
R2D2
was
shit.
looking at that. They
Yeah.
communicate with sing-song beeps and musical
Musical
tones.
tones and beeps meant to carry across a noisy factory floor. And I wrote a bit
So
about the
I just
Fredaean language.
imagine a forklift driver
Yeah.
backing up and it's like beep, 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 and that's how they all
Oh,
like talk to each other, but
it's
no,
much
different.
more
it's like
complicated than that,
R2D2,
but
man.
yeah. R2D2. Think of Ellen Ripley's giant forklift arguing with one of those tiny Star Wars message drones that skitters around the floor
Yes,
like a
Like
like
the
a little
little rag
toy
drones,
truck.
yeah.
They speak the same language. The big one says get out of the way. The small one agrees. That's how they talk.
That's how it goes.
works for me.
So that's their situation. So it's an easy job on the face of it. You haul 40 tons of this stuff, much needed stuff that the Fredaeans will want. But you have to watch out for the political ramifications, and as much as possible, do not get involved in politics on the Fredaean side. You have to plead that you're doing your order to a free and sovereign world as they requested, and they requested the deal. So you have to insist on that. But all your papers are okay. Um, your travel papers are okay to do anything that a sovereign government or a legally constituted commune of the Verdulan Federation wants you to do. So it looks like paperwork wise, you are golden. So you load up the things. Did you have any questions about it? Did you have any other business? Are you planning to take off?
We might as well just take off.
Now we got 23 tons. Let's do a broker
Yeah.
search.
You have 23 spare tons. That is
Yep.
true.
I've
And
got
yeah.
no clue what I'm looking for, but I'm looking.
The med kits and the if you had wanted to buy other stuff, that's negligible stuff.
Why
Negligible.
don't you make a
tonnage.
broker roll?
Bam.
Yeah. Okay.
6.
6. Almost as bad as it can get.
Okay. I have that utility that can. Let's see. Okay. I think it's just in the heat of the moment. Oh, did I
We're
mention
looking for
also?
something fast.
Yeah. I think also the issue is that trade has not quite reestablished itself. I started the calendar on day 1. That's the other thing. This campaign starts on day 1 of the year 1105. On day 1, it's Memorial Day. It's a federal holiday. People are hung over and they watch some sort of Memorial Day uh, uh, service where there are wreaths laid at the war memorial by both Frontier Federation and Verdulan military units marching side by side. So the brassy music is just the thing to irritate your humongous hangovers on New Year's Day morning. Then the markets opened up on January 2nd. That's when you met Brianna Anderson, and now it's January. Well, January. It's day 3, the 3rd. So I'm going to move the calendar, edit it to day 3. But the trouble is that because day 1 was a holiday, day 2 was slow, day 3 was slow. So trades and things are a little slow
So
just because of.
what you're saying is there's more or less there's not a trade facility established on these starports on the other side for us to sell the stuff yet. It's still
No, it's still holiday weekend. Nobody wants to. Everybody's being lazy, and we're
let's
the
just
only
get the
people
hell
that
out of
are
here. We'll
going
deal
to.
with
Yeah.
trade later. Let's just go.
The holiday lasts a little longer than New Year's Day itself because there's 360 days in the calendar plus 5 extra days, which people often make as official holidays. But after that lengthy period of closure of the markets and business, now you can probably go in cold with some kind of product that Draco Venko might want or Yanto might want.
Yeah.
You can guess, you can have a thing, and it'll be a dice roll. There, it might be modified by the particular circumstances of the commune. It'll work very similar to the trade rolls in that, but I might introduce extra factors or a boon or a bane depending on how the communes are going. Um, you want to try to sense what the market is. Now, the apparatoi will help you actually. They'll probably tell you what can be sold, but they can't give word to the communes on the Verdulan side any faster than you can travel there. So if you want to wait a few days, they can swing a deal
Well,
on Dracovenko and Yanto for you, or you
we
can
can't
jump sort
wait,
of
Captain. We got to get this job done. We need to go.
right.
We can
Okay,
trade later, but we're holding up our business if we wait. And waiting,
that's
it
true.
seems like all the cards are pointing to let's get aboard this boat and let's fly. Let's
Okay,
go.
okay.
It sounds like we have all stop signs on trade. I say let's go. Rest of the crew, are you with me?
Oh,
Yeah, I think I think we moved because we've got to shake down. Is this a new ship or a second-hand one? Just a matter of interest.
I think they have bought the ship, well, almost brand new as far as you can tell.
So it's still got that new smell.
Well, I don't know what a new smell would be for a starship. Do you want to try to make a roll for that?
Like new car smell.
A scientist type
Yeah.
might be able to do an analysis. Maybe a medical guy could. You want to try to do some
I got
kind
It only
of
goes
time.
1G, so it's kind of like my Chevy Spark going
aha.
up the hill.
Yeah, I
The
think.
low mileage.
Yeah, it's a question of science. And the
Ved
only ones with
sniffing
yeah,
the seats isn't healthy.
Astria and Ved have science type skills.
Hmm.
Ved can roll if you want.
Yep.
Well, when I
Okay.
really tell from the controls, I'm the pilot. These controls are like still shiny.
Okay, so you're talking about the new seat smell sort of thing. I don't know if that'll persist like cars today, or if they'll have something totally different, like completely hypoallergenic plastics or so on,
I
where
think
they,
what I mean more
yeah,
is it's a pristine ship. It's not doesn't have
uh,
scuffs on the walls or anything like
It's
that.
like he said,
yeah.
There you
it's
go,
used,
sign
but it
2 of
looks new.
13.
It's got a new appeal to
Oh
it.
my goodness. Okay, yeah, yeah, this was a vintage Bordeaux that was corked like 3 years ago. So you see probably evidence of the manufacturing vapors and so on was, and then perhaps stored for a year waiting for a sale. So it's fairly new. It's probably not made old later than three
So it's
years
only
ago.
3-4 years old.
No, it was just manufactured 3 years ago.
Oh wow,
So it's
Nice.
brand
that's
new.
pretty damn new
Uh,
for a Starship.
to like maybe in the beginning the Argosy Dawn shipping, had to go sort of handle by they bought their second ship secondhand, their third ship secondhand. But as they started to spread out and do more and more details, I think they've gotten progressively better and better. And
Made
depending
more
on
money.
whatever the best business decision is, they are starting to buy new ships. The shipyards love them. It has, of course, a multiplier effect across the economy. But this ship, as far as you can tell from simple testing, is new. It does have the faint gas smell, although they're more environmentally conscious in the future. They don't want stray carcinogenic plastic smells so much anymore, but it's still there
It's
in
got new
trace
car smell.
amounts. Yeah, trace amounts. It's blah 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 decimal points on your detector, but it's there,
Come
meaning
on,
you can.
Captain, let's blast off this boat
Yeah.
rock. Let's go.
So
Come
are
on.
you leaving the 23
Yeah,
spare tons of
you
space
guys were
empty?
smelling the seat coverings.
That's another test. Not as good as nowadays,
That,
but
that
it could be
that
done.
we can do in the jump drive bubble.
Okay. Um, do you fill out that extra 23 tons of space with anything?
Um,
An
Let's go for
agricultural
speculative
planet,
trade.
yeah,
yeah, see, I don't know what an agricultural planet would want from this
yeah,
world.
EVs.
I could
yeah.
look for a freight real quick.
Knives. They need lots of
I
knives.
thought
Okay.
everything was closed.
Well,
That's
no,
the
no, they
holiday.
were closed. They were closed on day one. Day two is reopened, and you're in day three. But I'm just saying business is more slow in general as trade routes resume. This was a multi-day holiday on both sides of the border. That's all. It creates a bit of a
Okay.
slowdown. So
Okay.
that's why your roll was so low. But you can try again, look for freight, follow whatever the rules are for freight. I don't mind. You can look it up
Yeah, I'm trying to
yourselves.
scroll and find
Is
We
it.
there
did
any
you
regular freight that somebody wants to pay to take to Dracono? Is it just regular
Dracovenco,
freight?
yeah.
Well, I'm not. Yeah, I'm looking for the next one for
Freight,
Jack
blah blah blah,
and
fixed
Phenomena.
rate.
Because if we could make extra money, that's would be good for us. What the hell?
Yeah, if you have no, remember in the Mongoose second edition rules, if you have no other option, there are certain kinds of cargo. There's basic cargoes that are always available, so it removes the uncertainty, but it's probably not always high value stuff. Freight is listed there, page 239 of the updated rules, and it says major cargo lots are, if you want major cargo lots, it's 1 dice times 10 tons of freight. Minor lots are 1 dice times 5 tons of freight. That's probably, well, almost good for you. You don't want it to go over 23 tons.
We want a
Incidental
minor lot.
cargo lots are 1D tons of freight. So determine the number of cargo lots available. Roll 2 dice on the freight traffic table 3 times. Freight
Roll,
traffic table is on the
Justin.
next page.
So what am I rolling?
So go on,
Roll
you
207,
roll
right?
2D on, roll 2D 3 times.
Okay.
You got a
One
little
seats for
icon in the
incidental,
corner.
minor, and the first roll is incidental lots. Oh, what are they giving me here? Yeah, okay. So there's modifiers based. Oh, there's modifiers based on the world. Let's see. Uh,
All right, so I'm rolling
okay.
2d6 3 times, right?
Right.
Okay. Well, let's figure out each individual roll here because there's for
Oh,
both source and
okay.
destination worlds apply these dice modifiers. World population 8 or more, that's a DM +4. Okay, so because Fentara is so populated, I don't think you'll have any trouble, even though it's Fentara's starport B. So let's compare Fentara and Dracovenco. You're going to have a real flood of possible freight traffic. So let me just shorten and simplify it by saying that because Fentara is so populated, the border is not an iron curtain like Berlin Wall or any crap like that. There are goods and things that are circulating now, and mail and whatever. So um, you can fill out your hold with exactly 23 tons of freight if you want, and get the paperwork done.
Regular freight?
Regular freight intended for Dracovenco,
Do
and
we
you
get paid
pick up.
1,000 a ton on that, or how much?
That's right. Let me just see
I
here.
think it's because it's 2
2
parsecs. It
parsecs,
should
it's
be
1,200.
1,200.
If you're going to Draco, yeah,
That's how it is
exactly.
in Mongoose
Well,
1.
let's load that shit up and we'll take it there and drop it off to them.
Yeah. It's funny that they don't mention the freight cost. Why don't they mention it right next to the
Where
section for
is
freight?
it?
Where is it? It's
So
new
freight
rules,
is
full rules,
kind of like there's mail.
freight. There's 26 mentions of freight here. Let's see. On trade. Here it is. Passage and freight. Parsecs travel. 2 parsecs of freight is 1,600 per ton. It's on page 239. Okay, so can be freight at 1,600 per ton.
Oh, there it is on the top table. Okay. That's pretty nice. That's a little more than we expected.
Yeah,
So
but
this
you're going to
didn't
be,
cost us nothing, but we have to deliver it, and this is our own job.
yeah, but take note that one important note now, you're going into the Verdulan Federation. So 1,600 credits per ton equals, anybody?
About 800 credits per ton.
3,200 euros per ton when you get to the Verdulan side. I'm
So
going
it
by a,
doubles in value, huh?
no, it's the same
Yeah,
value,
but
different currency.
we're
What are you talking
we're
about?
getting paid. We're getting paid at this end for this. So
Are you? Oh, you're right. You're
yes.
right. Okay, yeah, you're right. So if you take on the freight, you are paid without delay, and 1,600 times 23.
We still got to
Somebody's,
deliver it on time. We're not going to
yeah.
get paid that much if we don't deliver
Well,
it
to
on
do that,
time.
we need to take off.
36,800.
Okay, so 36,800 credits. Any business you do on the Verdulan side is going to be figured out in their units, which are euros, and it's approximately
Double.
2 euros gets you 1 credit. So that's under the official rules. Plus, there's administrative costs and charges and currency conversion and so on. So it works out to about 2 for simplification. Okay, so you can load the extra 23 tons with the thing, and if you're ready to take off, the starport authorities are okay with you taking off. In fact, they type a 4-word message on the
All
text.
right. Who's checking the
And
engines? I'm sitting in the pilot
Yep.
seat. I'm ready to roll. Is everybody
here's
in
the
position?
message.
Get your motors running.
We're getting her running. I need the engineer to check on the
Get-
drive. She's
All right, we
Get your motor
waited,
running.
what,
Okay.
2.5 hours to get that joke.
Get your motor
Yeah.
running.
Okay.
Head out
Walking
on
down
the,
highway,
spaceway, whatever.
looking
Okay,
for adventure.
okay,
The
space
power is
procedures.
okay.
I'm hoping this book is nicely organized about spacecraft operations. Okay, so let's see, power, blah blah blah. Oh, and I'll figure out what the turret power use is. Sometimes you might have situations where you got to have a Mr. Scott type divert
Pulse
power
lasers
to
use
whatever. So that's what
5.
the power
Missiles
engineer will
use
probably do.
pulse
Yeah.
lasers use 5 power.
Oh, you got that.
Missiles
Okay.
missiles use
All right.
none, but 1 for the turret. So
Okay, so here's the page. Jump travel, preparing for jump. An astrogation roll. Jump needs to be plotted. Easy astrogation check, especially on a well-traveled space lane. 1D times 10 minutes, so you might take a few minutes for
Am I
that.
doing the astrogation check? Am I the only one?
Astrogation check,
I
yeah.
don't think
Education
we're there yet.
modifier. To jump. This is this is to get out.
We have to
you-
take off first.
You
piloting.
gotta
Yeah,
take off yet.
you're right. That's a piloting roll.
See if you scratch the
Yeah.
paint.
Don't
Oh.
Sorry,
scratch
this is my
the new
first
paint.
campaign.
Well, we know the
We
power's
trust this
okay.
pilot. We'll find
Oh,
out
and
soon
life
enough.
support. How are you for life support? You want to buy how much of that?
Well,
That
we
would be
don't
good.
buy it. How much did they provide us with?
Yeah.
The company gives you a funds for things like fuel and life supports,
Hey,
which
bro, I rolled
is
a 13 for my
Great. We
takeoff.
took
Okay.
off without life support. We're all gonna die.
The company gave us life support. He's just got to tell us how much.
it's
We won't be-
100,000 credit ship funds to use for things like the fuel and the life supports.
But we must all be ready to go, like fueled up.
Well, how much is life
Stocked
support
Right.
for 8
They,
of us?
they didn't fuel
Yeah,
us up.
right now.
We didn't
Yeah,
have
right now
life
you are
support.
here, so you're fueled up. But how much life support would they give you as a company supply? Let me see.
You tell us
Probably
they
a
would
month.
give us life
Yeah.
support before we leave, and we have the
They would probably
100,000.
have us filled up and have a month of life support.
So you have 8 crew,
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
and a month of life support is typical. And then you have the licenses to buy more life support from the appropriate commune on the Verdulan side, which functions pretty much the same, except they're a monopoly.
Mhm.
8 passengers for 1 month, which is 4
32
weeks.
weeks. Yeah. 32 weeks.
32 person weeks.
Don't worry. This is an
And
agriculture world we're going
yeah.
to. Life support will be
So
cheap.
64, 60.
What is the
Are you talking about 64?
No,
No,
it wouldn't be
2,000
64.
times 32, 64,000 credits. Does that make sense?
It sounds high.
For
Hang
what?
on.
For life support.
Life
Hang
support.
on. Hang on.
I thought it was
Oh,
2,000 a stateroom.
For a month.
Oh yeah, okay, but you're each occupying a full stateroom.
Yep.
Mhm.
Life support and
That's per
supplies is
month.
1,000 credits per each maintenance period, and the maintenance period is that the week?
I thought it was a
1,000.
month.
Yeah,
Okay.
month. So it's even less than I thought.
Maintenance period. Maintenance
He's
period. If I
talked.
search for the word maintenance period, 2 jumps per maintenance period. So 1 weekend
Oh.
jump followed by 1 weekend star
Half a month.
system. Okay, so
So
that is like
2,000
2
per
jumps.
month. Yeah.
Okay,
2,000.
so a maintenance period is 1,000 credits. So 1,000 credits per stateroom per maintenance period. That's 2 jumps, which means 4 weeks. So
Whoa.
1,000 times
2
1,008 is
times
8,000 credits. Okay, so
Mm.
8,000 credits is your life support.
That
Cheap
ain't
chips.
shit. Can we get 2 months right away? Then we'll have enough to not worry or have to stop or think about stopping. We can just
Okay.
drop off our shit and
Yeah,
keep
you're
going.
not paying for the life support. The company is supplying that, so
So
they're
why not
giving
have
you
2 months?
2. They're giving you They're giving you 8 passengers for 8 weeks. It cost the company 16,000, but they loaded you up for that. Okay,
Then we're
so
ready
you're
to go.
ready.
We can go there and
Yeah.
back.
If we get
can cover the
passengers,
fuel.
we're gonna run through this life support faster than they think, though.
Well,
Yeah.
if
Oh,
we're not getting passengers right now. We're getting out of here.
Not
yeah.
yet.
There's just one problem. Doesn't life support take up room? It takes tonnage, doesn't it?
Extra life
All
support
your
does.
powdered eggs and shit.
Yeah.
I don't know how you would work those rules. I think you get so
My
much.
life
I
support.
think we're going to
takes
go
up
through a
tonnage.
ton of powdered eggs.
Yeah.
I really
And
like these
oxygen.
powdered eggs,
Yum.
man.
Yum.
Water, oxygen, things like that. How
Yeah,
Yeah.
big
but I
is
thought
life
that's
support?
like in internal storage tanks and refrigerators that are
A
built
normal,
into the
yeah.
walls. And
A normal
I
month
think
takes that
staterooms
space.
Would not include oxygen and stuff like that.
We
staterooms
got 2 empty staterooms. We can throw all these oxygen tanks in there.
You think? Okay. I'm going to say, well, life support has a definite tonnage, which I think we calculated before. But if you want to use the 2 staterooms for life support and nooks and crannies,
there.
and
I
your life
seriously
support will
doubt
go down slightly.
your cargo tonnage capacity would have to calculate into it oxygen and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
I thought that would have been
Yeah,
kept as a
that's
Big
under
separate
normal
issue.
oxygen tanks,
normal operations.
and food supplies do take room.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes, I
And
do.
you're,
I agree,
yeah.
but I doubt when you go to on board a ship and you go to fill it up with its tonnage, as cargo capacity. I doubt
Mhm.
you go, well, and you need to calculate how much fuel you're going to get. That would have been kept
Yeah.
separate as a measurement, I would have thought.
I think
Life
the issue
support,
is
life
the
support.
extra life support. Because the ship's
Yeah, if you
built to
want,
take a
if you
month's
calculate an
worth of
extra.
life support, which is fine. But we want 2 lots, don't we? Which is where the
Yeah, we
tonnage
want
is
2
coming
months
from.
just in case.
Let's
That's the only
see.
issue.
Life support, basic ship systems, life support.
Because I think all that's, like everyone's saying, it's built for standard operations. It's built into the stateroom. Because the 4 tons you get in the stateroom isn't just the stateroom; it's all the extra bits.
Yeah, I'm looking for all the references to life support, and
Yeah.
there's no mention
Nothing in
of
the
its
index.
tonnage except.
Yeah. On the wiki.
Okay,
That's
so
where I
probably
found it.
there's tanks
This might
predicted
be
for it, or at least in Mongoose 2 there is.
Traveler 5.
And there'd also be
rule.
there'd also be recyclers and stuff there, so all your waste gets recycled.
Yeah, you get a lot of that.
Within reason. Okay, I'm not worried about that. Do the pilot roll in that case.
I did.
I'm not
13.
worried. 13. Okay, very good. So you can take off physically from the planet Fentara. You go away from the. It's not a gas giant that it orbits around, but it's Glomera, a big world, solid as a rock, and you jump to 100 diameters. It would have to be 100 diameters away from Glomera, and
Do I need to do an astrogation roll now too?
yeah, you're not
You
under
don't
any.
have it plotted out yet? So I'm thinking we're gonna head right to the main world because we want to pick up. We have to drop off the freight, and we want to pick up some agricultural stuff to sell at Yanto.
I got an 11 on my astrogation roll.
And we've got
Okay, that's
probably
good.
encounter rolls yet.
All right, so you can make it to the jump point. Your astrogation roll is good, and I'm just trying to
We're
see.
heading for the main world where we got to take our cargo.
Okay, and I want to get at least to the. We have only about 20 minutes left, but I just want to spring a visual on you when you can arrive at Dracovenko.
Oh, don't we have to do? We do an astrogation roll, and then
Yeah,
the
we
jump
need our
drive
engineer.
has to fire up the engine.
I
The
thought-
jump drive engineer has to do his thing.
I thought the astrogation roll was to plot the course to Dracovenko.
That's
and
to
now
plot
the
the
engineers.
course, but the jump
That's to
drive
plot the
engineer.
course, but we still
Okay.
have to. The engineer has to do
stop
a
talking over
roll,
each other.
That's right, engineering
and
roll.
then the
That's
pilot,
correct.
I think, does a straight 2d6 roll. But then Mongoose
Yeah.
version 2 may do it a little different.
Let's check the book.
Right.
Engineering.
I think you'll be doing it,
Page,
Richard. You got the
157.
jump drive.
I want to see if I can get you at least to Dracovenko tonight. Jump. Jump procedure.
Top of 157 on the right-hand column.
Very good.
I'm not seeing anything there.
Okay, jump travel. Preparing for jump. Okay, so we've done that. Now the astrogation is done. Easy engineer check. Now it takes one. Well, first of all, roll 1d6 times 10 minutes to see how long it's going to take. You're not in a rush situation.
It's just who's rolling this?
Yeah,
Engineer J drive. Engineer J drive
Who's
roll.
the engineer of the J drive?
I thought it was Ved or
Richard. Where's Richard?
Who's our engineer?
Director.
Ved.
Ved.
Richard.
Yep.
Richard, I'm ready to jump. Your captain's ready to go.
Ved makes the J drive
How's
roll.
those engines looking?
Ved.
Always good.
They're always good.
Do the roll.
Running?
Now,
You got to make
when I do my, was it M drive or J drive or just
J
want
drive.
standard
J drive.
engineering?
You have to click the 3 stars next to J drive, jump drive.
Yeah.
And I don't add any modifier. That's separate.
No, that your
There's no
modifiers are
modifier.
already added.
Yeah, you're just trying to get a +4 to make sure that the engine does not shake apart.
Oh, look at that, dude! You rolled a 12.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're on your way.
Close the window.
Yeah.
And I was just to check the book where we're at here. I'm doing my best, guys. This
Yeah,
is
it's
my
all
first
cool. It's all
DMing.
cool, mate. There's lots of rules.
It's all
Yeah, but
good. It's all good,
it's laid
Pierre.
out
You're
pretty
fine.
sequentially in the book. That's 150,
Oh,
whatever. Sorry. Okay, so
The dries look good. So there'd be an effect on that of 6. Is that right? No,
No,
actually
4.
8.
No, it's
No,
4.
okay,
it's a 4 or higher. So he rolled the 12. So he has a
yeah,
+8 to the roll. I mean, we can't fail. This is a beautiful
yeah.
job.
How is your astrogation roll? Because it says it's modified by the task chain of the original astrogation check and the following modifier, but you aced your
11.
astrogation.
They're both
Okay,
great
so
rolls, 11 and 12.
11.
okay,
11.
so that's adding even more benefit to the jump drive roll for sure. Now, some power has to be diverted, but that's within your capacity for the jump drive. And jump travel, fuel is used, of course, 10% of your hull tonnage per
But
parsec.
he didn't fail, so there's no misjump.
Yeah, no misjump, no,
Yep.
no misjump. You consume a certain amount of fuel. So you're on your way. What do you want to do for the intervening week in jump? You seem to be pointed straight at Dracovenko.
Well, I am going to start my steward training, my 8 weeks of training.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
so
training.
I guess I'll be doing the dishes and making the beds.
Okay, so you're starting a steward training, so you can mark that have done
Yep,
1 week
I've
for
done that.
that. Everybody can look at 1 week of training out of 8
okay.
in the skill that's reasonable. Now, it's assumed that you can buy audiovisual learning materials for any of these skills, but of course, if you've actually seen the videos from Seth Skorkowski, he said that the guy practicing explosive skills on board during jump is not very popular.
No.
So it has to be reasonable type of skill.
Do I have some like virtual reality stuff? Because I would like to practice with my gun skills, probably firing different guns and stuff. So not.
Where do I note that, Pierre? The 1 week.
On the sheet, you go
On the
into
prime.
the prime area, and there's this column on the right about where to put your. If you go to the
Okay.
prime, there's a study period. So you've done 1 week out of an 8 period worth of study, and you can note any notes about it. And there'll be a roll for success at the end of 8 weeks. So you can easily cover, if you have the right learning materials, you can easily cover this in the spare weeks of jump if you're doing a full-time study, which means at least 8 hours a day, which is doable if you have light duties on board, maintenance, whatever. Okay, good. And everybody else can pick a similar skill in that
Yep.
way. So I'll be on your case next time to pick, the skill if you didn't do it. Okay, so you come out of jump. Um, you are definitely in Verdulan space now in Hex 0415, Dracovenko. You are aiming for the main world. As you come out, your roll indicated the effect sort of tells you how accurate you were in jumping. Let me just see here. Astrogation. Yeah. Yeah. So you'd have the perfect result, which is to come out 100 diameters from the world. It is, what was the size of Dracovenko again?
I want to do a sensor roll right away if I can.
Yeah. One thing you're getting automatically is that the Verdulan worlds put out a basically an what did you roll?
I rolled
Sensors?
a 14 on my sensors, man.
Good Lord, you must have godlike knowledge of all the ships going around your
No, I
space.
think I got an education bonus,
Okay.
and I also have because I only have sensors 1.
Yeah, where do all these boom bane bonuses come from?
They're
No,
not being used. They're just an extra dice.
Just ignore those.
If there's a situation,
Why do you have +3? Is it just because you have high education? Must be. Yep.
Let me just see what his role was.
That's
Are you
3
talking
means.
about the
Yeah,
sensors?
one
That's
for
5.
education, or 2 from
It's
education
his skill
bonus.
level,
It's
actually.
education. Education's the modifier. I have
Yeah.
education at 12. So my education increases my
Oh, it is.
skill. So I
Yeah.
actually
Plus
rolled an
2.
11 plus my skill and my education gave me a 14.
Yeah.
And
Well,
that's
wait
the
a minute.
rule.
9 to 11 is a +1. A 12 education gives you a +2.
Yes.
Where do you get the +3 from? Let me check your sheet about that.
I have a
Skill.
skill of 1. I have sensors 1. Plus
Okay.
I have
Education
education
of
2. So that's a plus
Oh,
3
okay.
to
They
the
are.
roll.
Yeah. Okay. You're right. They are added together.
Yes. So I had to roll an 11 to get a 14. Either way, an 11's good, even if I had a
Yeah.
0. So it's a great sensor roll. So we should be able to pick up on whatever the hell's going on around this planet or the system as we're entering.
Because of the effect. Okay. So you are getting a very good picture of ships coming in. There is a welcome message which is talking about things that incoming people should know about Dracovenco. They also mentioned that this did not used to be the main world of the system. It used to be the planet Sereno, but Sereno started to develop volcanism um, several decades ago. So the whole population had to be lifted over to Dracovenco, which was one orbit out. And both the naval forces of the Verdulan Federation and the Frontier Federation collaborated in a joint effort to get that done. So this is why I mentioned in the background text that the people of Dracovenco are particularly friendly to people like you from the Frontier Federation. But there's nothing threatening your ship. I'm going to look at, I just want to see if there's one kind of space encounter. Um, there is a radio message from what looks like some kind of starport control, and they basically ask you to identify yourself. And they don't have your name yet from like when you registered your name, you registered your actual official name the same day that you took off. They just say be ready for registration forms and so on when you land. They give you a general standard route to go to the planet Dracovenco. And don't know if I'm forgetting any other procedure. You're getting all kinds of record. You have a radio channel which gives you all kinds of radio messages about what to expect about this system and especially the planet Dracovenco itself. They don't say that any vaccinations or anything like that are needed. Um, and you approach and you're ready to land. I think I'm going to need a piloting role for landing. Oh, they tell you one thing that's important. They say that if you are coming from the frontier instead of from the Verdulan Federation, they ask you to land only in a particular terminal of the starport. So it's Terminal C instead of Terminal A for regular traffic, so that they can process you better. And you have to report to the office of the um, an office of the Apparato
I got
Society
an
to
8
get.
on the pilot roll, so that's
Okay.
yeah.
And in effect, that would be it. Okay, so I think you just barely land well, and it's an unfamiliar thing, but you do manage to land in the starport area assigned. And I'm going to close off this session by just showing you. I'm going to show you the view that you get, which looks like this, and there's going to be a sound which comes up, and I hope it's not too loud for you, but here it is. Do you hear anything?
A
Yeah.
little bit.
Not yet.
Here we are.
I got to change. I got to
That's
set my
cool.
volume
Zoom
up.
I
out.
like it.
Yeah,
And you
that is
notice a
pretty great.
sign up on top of the building of this terminal, which is up here.
Welcome to the Verdulan Federation. Prosperity and fortune awaits you.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
Nice.
that music sounds very much like some Soviet era.
Oops, did I hit the right music? I don't hear anything myself.
I don't hear anything.
It's supposed
I
to
think
say,
I
someone's
hear it.
oh,
trolling you.
here it is, here it is. You hear it now? I don't
It's
hear anything.
very
Why don't
quiet.
I hear it?
It
It's
just
I can
sounds
hear
like
very
something in the
people
back.
talking.
Tiny, tiny.
Yeah, it's supposed to be starport sounds. It's not meant to be music. You hear things buzzing
I hear
by.
starport sounds.
I think I think it's because there's so many people on this game on Roll20. There might be some lag before your
I can
sound
hear
kicks
it.
in. Yeah.
No, it
There's a
sounds
lot
like
of like intercoms and like
The,
sounds
the
like
people
ships
in the right
It's just
continent can hear
really,
it.
really
people
faint.
moving around.
Exactly.
It's
Okay,
pretty
sounds
perfect.
like
cool.
a terminal of some kind.
Yeah,
Oh,
like
yeah,
a
It is
terminal,
I've
like
got
an
that. Yeah.
airport terminal type thing.
exactly, exactly. And the idea is that you're supposed to report to this, which is the logo for the Apparato Societo, the letters A and S in the Verdulan alphabet, and this is basically traveler's aid in the sense of traveler's aid to people from the frontier like you. So that's where
What
you're
are the
supposed to get
stats on
in.
this planet? Could you post them? I mean, what's
Oh
the
yes,
log?
absolutely, I can post them. They're from the thing.
They're in the
Uh,
handouts.
Yeah.
uh, yeah, it's in the
Oh, we
orbit
can
table. I just
we
call up
can't copy
the
that.
Dracovenco orbit table again, but it's
So
Yeah,
uh,
strong.
it's all in subsector E too, so you can pull it up there too.
yeah, B454677-9. So I think they're agriculturally oriented, agriculture, non-industrial.
So
Uh,
B454677. Say that one more
seven
time.
nine. Yeah.
Yeah, you
Oh,
messed
okay.
those up.
-9. B four
I'm
five
gonna
four six seven nine -9. High law level.
777
677
-9.
7
Yeah.
dash 9. Nine's the tech.
And then there's
So
a
yeah,
bunch of
higher
extended
tech level
stats.
or higher law level.
Yeah. Let me show it to you here. It's at the top of this thing, and I can't cut and paste it because it's a photo. It's a screenshot, but it's
Okay.
B454677-9, agriculture, non-industrial, and then the other stats have to do with importance and
15%
cultural
gravity.
factors. And it says here that there are 6 million people here. It's orbiting a G3, a class G3 star, but there's a small class M red dwarf orbiting at a far, far distance as well. In fact, it occupies orbit, whatever it is,
Orbit 8.
orbit 8, which is a way off. It's like Uranus, Neptune level. So instead of
It's a
Neptune,
small M
there's a small
dwarf.
red dwarf. Yeah, with
Yeah.
a few planets of its own orbiting around that. Um, and then orbit 10 is actually occupied by yet another thing, which is not influenced by the red dwarf. So that's
Ice
weird.
roll with a ring.
Yeah.
Interesting. I
And
like it.
I happen to give names to all this, but there's a lot of there's a lot of extra. This is Traveler 5 sort of stats when I could get them. Um, Otherwise, that's the situation. And I think it's a good place to sort of close the game at the moment, and I'll leave the graphic up in case Jess wants to see that later. Um, so a lot by necessity, it was a lot of exposition, a lot of strange stuff going on as well, which I'll have to do my best to relate. I think we can stop the recording before I get the complaints and comments, mostly complaints. So stop the recording,
No
maybe Steve.
complaints. Hang on a second. Stopping now.